Naruto was in excruciating pain. He was carrying a battered and bloodied Sasuke over his shoulder. Sasuke had left the village seeking greater strength. Tsunade had dispatched him, along with Neji, Choji, Kiba, and Shikamaru, to retrieve Sasuke and bring him back. Naruto had taken on this task to keep a promise he made to Sakura. A short distance away, Kakashi Hadake spotted Naruto carrying the Uchiha. He frowned deeply. He had witnessed the fight between Naruto and Sasuke. He had seen Naruto use the Rasengan to overpower Sasuke. Why Jiraiya taught Naruto an A-rank jutsu and not Sasuke, I'll never understand, Kakashi thought bitterly. When we get home, I'm putting you on a strict diet, Naruto groaned as he struggled under Sasuke's weight. The battle had left Naruto exhausted, and every step was a challenge. Kakashi noticed and a slight smile appeared on his face. He began forming hand signs swiftly. Pakun, one of Kakashi's summoning dogs tracking the pair, noticed what Kakashi was doing. Kakashi, what are you doing? What are those hand? Pakun started, but was cut off as Kakashi completed the summoning. Suddenly, Naruto heard birds chirping. A chill ran down his spine. He knew the birds had fled after the devastation from his fight with Sasuke. He looked around, and just as he located the source, Kakashi sprang forward, driving a Chidori into Naruto's chest. Naruto collapsed, coughing up blood. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto wheezed. What are you doing? Don't call me sensei, Kakashi spat coldly. You don't deserve that. Naruto recognized that tone, the same harsh, hateful voice so many in the village used toward him. I'm taking Sasuke back, Kakashi said, but you won't be coming with us. Why? Naruto gasped, blood spilling from his lips. You died fighting Sasuke, who lost control under the curse mark's influence, Kakashi explained. When he struck you down, he passed out. I found him unconscious, and you were already gone. Why are you doing this? Naruto asked, feeling utterly betrayed. When Sasuke awakens his final Sharingan form, Kakashi continued, I'll tell him you're the one who died. That truth will unlock his full power. You're doing this for him. Naruto's expression twisted from sadness to fury. You traitor, if I survive, I'll come for your head. Not likely, Kakashi said, lifting Sasuke and walking away. More power, Naruto thought bitterly. I need more strength to make him pay. Far above the earthly realm, 3 women watched with growing fury. The first wore a white kimono adorned with stars, her black hair framing piercing blue eyes. The second was dressed in a black kimono patterned with skulls, with long white hair and glowing red eyes. The third wore a green and brown kimono decorated with leaves, her long brown hair framing vibrant green eyes. They were Kami, goddess of heaven, light and life, Shinigami, goddess of hell, death and darkness, and Tozi, goddess of nature. That's the last straw, Shinigami snapped, her voice dark and cold as a grave. I don't understand what Minato saw in this village when he saved it. I agree, sister, Tozi said, her voice soft but firm like the wind. They dared to ignore Minato's dying wish. Now Minato's own disciple has slain his son, Kami said, her normally serene face marked with rare anger. This village will pay for its crimes. The sisters nodded in agreement and descended swiftly to aid the boy. When they arrived, they found several figures cloaked in black robes with red clouds. The Akatsuki had found Naruto. Shinigami smiled darkly. Hello, gentlemen. All the Akatsuki turned toward the 3 goddesses. Who in Kami's name are you? One demanded. Don't you know staring is impolite? Kami teased, noticing their shocked expressions. This is none of your concern, Itachi said coldly. Stay out of this. I don't think so, Uchiha, Shinigami said sharply. She lunged and pressed 2 fingers to his chest over his heart. Moments later, Itachi collapsed lifeless. Kami soon joined the fray, focusing a beam of light in her hands and blasting several members into nothingness. Tozi manipulated the surrounding water, earth, and wood, crushing foes beneath stone, drowning them, or piercing with branches. Though some Akatsuki members were thought immortal, they stood no chance against the goddess's power. Soon, they were all defeated, their bodies left on the forest floor for the wolves and birds. They turned their attention to Naruto's fallen form. Let's get to work, sisters, Kami said. She approached Naruto's body and placed her hands on his chest. A radiant glow enveloped him as his injuries healed. Slowly, Naruto regained consciousness and saw the radiant goddesses before him. Are you angels? Naruto asked, causing the women to giggle softly. No, but we rule over them, Kami replied with a smile that made Naruto step back. He scanned their faces carefully. Don't worry, Tozy said calmly, we're here to help. Who are you? Naruto asked, still wary. I am Kami, goddess of heaven, light and life, Kami said warmly. I am Shinigami, goddess of hell, death and darkness, Shinigami added with a sly smile. And I am Tozy, goddess of nature, Tozy said, her gaze gentle. Naruto realized he was standing before the universe's most powerful beings. Instinctively, he sat up and bowed deeply. No need to bow, Naruto-kun, Kami said, you're making us blush. So why are you here? Naruto asked, rising to his feet. To help you seek revenge on the village that wronged you, Shinigami growled. How? Naruto questioned. We grant you these gifts, Kami said gravely, so you may punish evil and exact vengeance on those who hurt you. Fine, Naruto said, grinning. I accept your gifts and the conditions they bring. The goddesses smiled knowingly. Though Naruto seemed thrilled by his newfound power, they sensed his heart was pure and that he would not abuse it. I'll go first, Kami said, stepping forward. My gift is the power of light and life. You'll heal any wound of mind, body, or soul. She placed her hand on his chest, and a white glow spread over him. Next, Shinigami placed her hand on him. Mine is death's gift. You can inflict any injury on those foolish enough to face you. A black glow washed over Naruto, then Tozy stepped up. I grant you nature's power. You control all elements, understand every animal and insect, and your senses are sharpened beyond those of any creature. She touched his chest, and a green glow enveloped him. Naruto felt his hearing and smell heighten. When he opened his eyes, his vision was clearer than ever. That's not all, Kami said. The three placed their hands on Naruto's face. His eyes burned fiercely as pain coursed through them. When the burning ceased, Naruto stared at the goddesses with curiosity. What was that? He asked. We've given you a Dijutsu, Kami explained, the Twilight Eye. It holds the powers of the Sharingan, Byakugan, and Rinnegan combined. What's the Rinnegan? Naruto asked. Tozy answered, an ocular technique of the Namikaze clan. It lets them see sound, allowing them to track enemies even in total darkness. Naruto's eyes widened. He now possessed the powers of Konoha's most legendary clans. Wanna see? Tozy asked, holding out a mirror. Naruto nodded and focused chakra in his eyes. Taking the mirror, he saw his pupils constantly shift colors in a star shape like a compass rose. The sclera was black, and the iris was a deep forest green. Now, for the next gift, Kami said, as she and her sisters placed their hands on Naruto's forehead. An electric surge shot through his mind. Before his eyes, countless jutsu flashed, kenjutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, even techniques he'd never seen. You now know every jutsu, Tozy said as they withdrew their hands. And as a bonus, you no longer need hand signs to perform them. Naruto grinned, beginning to grasp the immense power he now held. And finally, Shinigami said, raising her hands and closing her eyes. The sky darkened and lightning cracked across the heavens. What is she doing? Naruto wondered as he watched. Meanwhile, the Hidden Leaf Village awaited the return of their precious Uchiha. That idiot better bring Sasuke back, Sakura huffed. He promised me. Ino stood beside her, but she wasn't waiting for Sasuke. She was waiting for Naruto. At first, she'd had a crush on Naruto for helping her when bullies picked on her. She'd been shy, but Naruto's support had made her bolder. Her pretense of liking Sasuke was just to stay close to Sakura and have a friend. Hinata was there too, along with others waiting anxiously. She was nervous, having liked Naruto since the beginning, admiring his determination and strength. I knew I shouldn't have counted on that idiot, Sakura snapped, impatience evident. That loser always messes things up. You shouldn't talk about him like that, Hinata stammered, annoyed. He could hurt you if he wanted. Oh please, Sakura scoffed, that loser wouldn't dare hurt me. I'm his Sakura-chan. Hinata's anger simmered. She desperately wanted to grab Sakura by the throat, rip it out, and dangle it before her. I'd heed her advice, said a voice they all recognized. They turned to see Gaara from the desert accompanied by Temari and Kankuro. Following them were Shizune and Tsunade. What brings you here? Ino questioned. We're backup, Temari explained. We were sent to assist the team that went after that troublemaker. Lucky we did, because we found that hefty guy in terrible shape, and 3 others struggling badly. After finishing off the sound ninja they faced, the sand ninja brought the leaf shinobi back. Tsunade worked quickly to stabilize everyone, since many were badly injured. At that moment, Kakashi appeared over the hill. Sakura smiled when she noticed Sasuke slung over his shoulder. Ino and Hinata grew uneasy when Naruto wasn't with them. Where's Naruto? Tsunade asked Kakashi as he approached. He's gone, Kakashi replied, causing Hinata to gasp. He was slain by Sasuke during the battle, and with his last breath, he asked me to bring Sasuke back. Tsunade raised an eyebrow in surprise. Gaara scoffed nearby. There's no chance the blonde lost to that weakling, Gaara declared. What are you saying? Sakura asked, staring at him like he was out of his mind. Sasuke clearly defeated Naruto. He even bested you. Witnesses say Naruto weakened you first. Your sources are mistaken, Gaara growled. The Uchiha fought and lost. The Uzumaki overcame me. You've got to be joking, Sakura laughed. He's no match for even a soggy exam paper. Everyone except a few chuckled. Naruto's poor test scores were well known. The laughter continued until Sakura was slammed against a wall by a massive hand crafted from sand. Everyone froze, sensing the deadly intent Gaara was radiating. Listen here, you pink-haired nuisance, Gaara growled. When it comes to facing powerful, worthy foes, I do not lie. The Uzumaki bested me, not your pathetic Uchiha. Watch your mouth, Kakashi warned. Kakashi, Tsunade interrupted. You said Naruto died. Well, I gave him something, and I want it back. She knew Naruto would want to return the necklace he had won from her in a bet. What? Kakashi asked, disbelief in his voice, surprised anyone would entrust the demon with anything valuable. Liar, she shouted suddenly, punching Kakashi square in the face. Where is he? I killed him with a Chidori so Sasuke could evolve his Sharingan, Kakashi stammered, facing the furious woman whose expression darkened with rage. She proceeded to give Kakashi the beating of his life. Tsunade, what are you doing? A civilian exclaimed. That man is a hero for killing the demon. The man was swiftly knocked down by an angry Kankuro. The puppet master had grown fond of the boy after he helped Kankuro's family during the Chunin exams. Jiraiya, Tsunade called out. Here, Jiraiya appeared beside her. Did you catch all that? She asked. Jiraiya nodded. Good, now go find Naruto, maybe he's still alive. Suddenly, thunder cracked and the sky turned dark. Everyone wondered what was happening when Gaara groaned, his face contorted in pain. A faint brown glow emerged from him, then a burst of pure chakra erupted from his stomach. The chakra took shape as Shukaku, who howled fiercely before dissolving into a stream of energy that flew away. Jiraiya recovered from his shock and ran after it. Across the elemental nations, the same scene unfolded with other Jinchuriki. They felt agony as the beasts within burst out and shot away. Thankfully, their hosts survived, though they'd be sore for days. All the chakra streams converged toward a single point. Naruto was confused about what was happening. Then he saw the streaks of light converging and crashing into him. He screamed in pain as the chakra fused with him. What was that? He grunted as the pain subsided. Our final gift, Kami explained. We've merged you with all the other tailed beasts alongside the one you already have. Now you possess all their powers. But what about? Don't worry. Those who held them survived and retained the powers they had while containing them. Suddenly, a portal opened beside them. What's that? Naruto asked. That, Tozi said, is where you're headed. Someone there has been waiting for you a long time. He's an old friend of your family. How will I recognize him? Naruto asked. Believe me, you won't miss him. Naruto turned to step through the portal when Kami stopped him. One more thing, she said. Without warning, she lunged forward and pressed her lips to his. Naruto was knocked backward by the sudden kiss but closed his eyes and kissed her back. When they broke apart, Shinigami approached and kissed him, followed by Tozi. We'll be waiting for you, sweetheart, Kami said with a playful laugh. Naruto nodded and entered the portal. Let's move, girls, Shinigami said. Next stop, Konoha. Back in Konoha, anticipation buzzed over Naruto's return. Some longed to see their friend again, others wanted to witness his execution for what he did to the Uchiha. Gaara had cooled off and released Sakura. Sasuke had awoken from his slumber, and Kakashi was recovering after Tsunade's beating. After some waiting, Jiraiya returned with a pale look. Jiraiya, Tsunade asked, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. The Akatsuki, Jiraiya panted, they're dead. What? Tsunade gasped. I found their bodies, Jiraiya explained, or what was left. Some crushed, some pierced, others drowned or vaporized. What about Naruto? Tsunade asked anxiously. I searched everywhere but couldn't find him. I can only assume Naruto killed the Akatsuki. Even Itachi died. What? Sasuke shouted, anger and pain in his voice. His entire quest for power was to avenge his clan by killing his brother. As much as I wish it were true, a new voice interrupted, Naruto didn't kill them. Everyone turned to face the speaker, shocked to see Kami. Shinigami and Tozi soon joined her. "Who are you and why are you here?" a villager asked. "I know," another villager said, stepping forward. "They were sent by Kami as a reward for hurting the demon and for praising us for killing it." "Isn't that right, dear?" He grinned lecherously at Kami. Many villagers shared the same thoughts, eyeing the women suggestively. Their faces turned serious when Kami's calm expression became stormy. With a flick, she lifted the man off the ground and tossed him across the village with minimal effort. "Filth," Kami spat. "You think hurting someone earns you a prize?" "We deserve it," another villager cried. "That demon is gone because of us." "You wouldn't recognize a demon if it bit your foot," Shinigami retorted. "Who do you think you are?" an angry villager challenged. To prove her point, Kami summoned a ball of light in her hands. Shinigami summoned darkness, and Tozi animated the surrounding forest. "The three goddesses," Kakashi whispered. "Who else do you think defeated the Akatsuki?" Tozi asked, silencing the crowd. "You did that?" Hinata asked, trembling before the three goddesses. "I killed Itachi," Shinigami said. "These two handled the rest. Except Midora, he wasn't there." "Chidori," Shinigami brushed off Sasuke's attack without breaking a sweat. "How dare you kill him?" Sasuke yelled. "No one takes away my reason for living, do you hear me? No one." Shinigami swatted Sasuke aside like he was nothing. "Why are you attacking the Uchiha?" Himura asked, rushing to aid Sasuke. "Pathetic," Shinigami sneered. "You still worship that weakling. You can't disrespect Sasuke like that." Sakura screamed, furious at the woman who dared harm her love. "You'll soon understand your mistakes," Tozi said. "But we're not here to fight, we're here with a message. The Uzumaki lives." "He's alive?" Hinata asked with joy. Ino smiled. "Yes," Kami confirmed, feeling the positive response. "We've sent him to another world where a friend of ours waits. Their Naruto will become strong. The most powerful ninja this world has ever known. Those who stood with him will be forgiven for their sins against Naruto-kun." "Naruto-kun," Sakura shouted. "How can you care for that loser? Sasuke is clearly better." "You'll see when he returns," Kami said, annoyed by Sakura's outburst. "After 3 years of training, he'll come back and shake your world." The sisters turned to leave when a certain Uchiha spoke up. "Give me that power," he demanded. "What did you say?" Shinigami asked. "That power," he repeated. "I want it. I deserve it more than that loser." Kami lost her temper and grabbed him by the collar. "You don't deserve anything you've been given," she snarled. She punched Sasuke square in the face, sending him flying like a rag doll through the village. He crashed into a wall and slumped. "Damn you!" Sakura screamed, charging to attack the woman. "Foolish, if you ask me." Hinata reacted quickly, using a Juken strike to knock Sakura out. She felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to see her father, proud. "I'll tell you this," Tozi said. "You will answer for your crimes soon." With that, the three women vanished in a flash of light, leaving the villagers to stew over what had happened. Meanwhile, Naruto stepped through the portal and gasped. This world looked almost identical to his own. Same trees, sky, sun, and forest. Animals darted between the trees, and the buzzing of insects filled the air. He sighed, recalling the rare peace he felt at Tsunami's place in Wave Country. Then he heard a scream. He sighed again. Different world or not, some problems never change. Before searching, he removed his leaf headband. He wasn't part of that village anymore. Thanks to his sharpened hearing, Naruto tracked the scream to a bandit camp. What he saw next made his blood boil, cages holding several girls. One was pulled out, probably no older than 8, with bright pink hair and wide, frightened brown eyes. "Don't worry, kid," the bandit said with a sneer. "It'll only sting at first." The little girl whimpered softly as the other bandits chuckled. Naruto growled under his breath. He knew rushing in blindly wouldn't work. They'd just use the women as leverage to keep him from interfering. Shukaku's power should be useful here, Naruto thought, recalling the technique Gaara used during the Chunin exams. He concentrated and shouted, "Great sand coffin." His voice echoed around, catching the attention of the bandits and captives alike. Suddenly, a massive column of sand burst from the earth, knocking the bandit holding the little girl off balance. Sand erupted from the ground, quickly coiling around all the bandits. Before they could even scream, they were dragged beneath the surface. A tremor followed as the earth shook. The girls watched in stunned silence. The little girl cautiously stood up. Naruto stepped forward. She looked at him hesitantly and took a step back. But when Naruto gave her a warm smile, her fear faded, and she returned the smile. Naruto approached the cage, holding the other girls, and studied them closely. One had striking green eyes and red hair, another had blue hair with brown eyes, and the last was blonde with bright blue eyes. Naruto smiled faintly, drew a kunai, and swiftly broke the lock on the cage. Almost immediately, the women tackled him. "Oh, thank you," the redhead exclaimed, squeezing Naruto in a tight hug. He wanted to tell her to loosen up, but his face was buried in her chest. The others hugged him too, rubbing their cheeks against his face, chest, and shoulders. "You're welcome," Naruto said once they let him go. "Who are you exactly?" "My name's Sally," the redhead said. "The blonde is Sarah, the blue-haired one's Alexandra, and the pink-haired girl here is Carrie." "I'm Naruto." "That's an unusual name," Carrie giggled, earning a glare from Alexandra. "That's no way to talk to the guy who saved us," Alexandra growled, then looked at Naruto. "Sorry, my sister's a bit of a goof." "So, where do you all live?" Naruto asked. "Our village isn't far," Sally said. "You can stay with us for a while, and we'll get you some new clothes." Naruto glanced down at his worn outfit, the same he'd worn when fighting Sasuke, complete with burn marks and a hole in the shoulder from a Chidori strike. "I don't want to be a burden," Naruto said. "No worries," Sarah reassured him. "It's the least we can do after you saved us." Naruto nodded in agreement. As they left, they didn't notice someone observing from above. "So this is the one they sent," a deep voice murmured. "Interesting." Naruto followed the girls until they reached their village. It was small, mostly huts and modest buildings. As they entered, two guards stopped them. "Girls, you're safe now," one guard smiled at them. But when he saw Naruto, his smile faltered. "Who's this?" he asked. "This is Naruto," Sarah explained. "He's the one who rescued us from the bandits. They were about to hurt Carrie." The guard's expression darkened. He knew the bandits were ruthless, but this was worse than he'd imagined. With the bandits stopped for now, he knew they'd return in greater numbers. He needed to warn the leader. "Come with me, all of you," the guard said. They followed him to a grand hut, where an elderly man in fine robes awaited. "My lord," the guard reported, "the women taken by the bandits have been returned, but the bandits will come back." The leader bowed his head. "We won't be able to withstand another attack." "He can fight for us," Carrie said, looking at Naruto. "He's amazing." "Can you fight?" the leader asked. Naruto nodded. The leader smiled faintly. "The bandits will return by nightfall," the leader said. "Prepare yourselves." With that, they were dismissed. Afterward, Sally dragged Naruto into a clothing shop. Naruto browsed until he found clothes that fit: a black shirt with a red flame symbol on the back, a white jacket with a dragon emblem on the left shoulder, loose black jeans, and blue sandals. As he explored, something unusual caught his eye: a sword. "What's this doing here?" Naruto asked the bald, portly shopkeeper. "That was found outside the village years ago," the man explained. "It's said to be forged from a fang of the dragon god Bahamut. Only someone with immense power can draw it from its sheath." Naruto stroked his chin thoughtfully. Then he reached out and took the sword. "What are you doing?" the shopkeeper asked nervously as Naruto grasped the hilt. To the man's surprise, Naruto smoothly drew the blade, a radiant golden fang-shaped sword glowing like the sun. High above, a shadowy figure smiled. "He's found the sword," it thought. "Excellent. How much?" Naruto asked. The girls gathered around, mesmerized by the sword. "No charge," the shopkeeper said. "Good luck with your fight tonight." It seemed everyone knew about the impending battle. People whispered as Naruto walked with the guards, who were amazed when Naruto summoned a stone to sit on. Naruto couldn't help but wonder what was happening back home. "In Konoha, what do you mean the daimyo cut our budget by 40%? Danzo snapped as the council erupted in chaos. Throughout the day, things only worsened. The three goddesses had sent word of recent events to various daimyos and their allies. The fire daimyo's budget cut was just the start. Gaara, Kazekage of the Sand Village, severed trade and aid ties. The Land of Spring, formerly the Land of Snow, cut off relations entirely after Naruto returned their princess and activated heat generators in the mountains. Princess Yuki not only ended ties, but tore up her contract from her role in the Ika Ika Paradise movie, causing Jirya to faint at the loss of such a pretty actress. The Waterfall Village blacklisted the Leaf Village, calling them enemies for harming a hero. Finally, the Wind and Wave daimyos barred the Leaf Village from any business within their lands. The Leaf Village was rapidly losing allies. "This is all the demon's fault," a civilian council member shouted, echoed by others. "This wouldn't have happened if you'd honored the Fourth's wishes," Tsunade fired back. At that moment, Jirya arrived. I searched everywhere with my spies, he said, ashamed. No sign of him. Why bother? Shikakunara scoffed. They say Naruto won't return for 3 years, we'll see him then. Yes, Koharu growled, but when that day comes, the demon will die. And you think the Uchiha will be the one to kill him? Inoichi Yamanaka asked. Yes, he'll receive special training, she replied, glancing at Jirya. You'll teach the Uchiha everything, including the Rasengan, she said smugly, expecting the sage to agree. But she was shocked to feel a deadly intent emanating from him. No, Jirya growled. This council orders that. I will never train that spoiled brat. Naruto is my apprentice and will remain so. The old woman opened her mouth to argue, but Jirya vanished in a puff of smoke. Danzo growled, this wouldn't have happened if that brat had joined my root program. No, Tsunade countered, this wouldn't have happened if you'd shown him any kindness. She left the room amid the council's shouts for her to return. Elsewhere, Naruto sat on the rock he'd conjured, waiting for the bandits. Hours had passed, and boredom crept in. Over the hill, a bandit force twice as large as Gato's attack on the Mist Village appeared. Who are you, boy? The bandit leader demanded as they approached. The one who'll stop you, Naruto replied. The bandits laughed and advanced until Naruto yelled, Earth style. Stone golem. He slammed his hand into the ground, and a massive golem made of rock rose up. What sorcery is this? The leader asked, retreating in fear. Naruto smirked as they fled, until they were suddenly engulfed in flames. Impressive young man, a guard said, patting Naruto's back. How'd you do that fire trick? Naruto stammered, that wasn't me. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the area. Smoke cleared to reveal a colossal dragon before their village. Let the one called Naruto step forward, the dragon commanded. Naruto stepped out slowly. So you're the one sent to me, the dragon said, examining him closely. Who are you? Naruto asked. The dragon smiled. I am Bahamut, king of dragons. Naruto sat cross-legged in the middle of a field, his hands forming a ram hand seal. Nearby, the girls from yesterday stood quietly, watching him intently. Accompanying them was a man clad mostly in white armor, with touches of gold on his shoulders and gauntlets. Without a helmet, his black hair and pale skin were visible. But what truly stood out were his eyes, a radiant gold with sharp, slit-like pupils. They all watched Naruto with bated breath as a golden light briefly enveloped him before fading away. Naruto exhaled deeply in frustration. Don't give up just yet, Naruto, the man encouraged. Try once more. Naruto sighed and refocused his mind. As he did, his thoughts drifted back to how he ended up here. Flashback, your name is Bahamut, Naruto asked, staring up at the majestic dragon. Yes, the dragon replied calmly. And why have you come here? Naruto inquired. To train you, Bahamut answered. Naruto nearly dropped his jaw in surprise. Why choose me? Naruto asked incredulously. Like the gods you come from, I've witnessed the hardships you've endured. My purpose is to help you gain strength, enough to become the most powerful in this world and the next. All right then, Naruto smiled. Let's get started. A brilliant flash of golden light enveloped the enormous dragon, transforming him into a man clad in white armor. His golden slit eyes gleamed with immense power, as if expecting nothing less from the one who bore them. We'll begin tomorrow, Bahamut said in a calm, human voice. It's quite late now, and I've had a long journey. Fine, Naruto said. Where will I sleep tonight? Here. No, here. With me. No, me. The girls nearby chimed in with their own offers to let Naruto stay with them. Naruto eventually chose a small hut on the village's southern edge. He slept deeply that night. The next day, training began. Before we start proper training, Bahamut explained, you must first learn to channel the strength of a dragon. Crossing his arms, Bahamut began to radiate a brilliant golden aura that pulsed with raw energy. You need to practice this until you can control it completely. End flashback. Naruto had been struggling to summon the same dragon power Bahamut demonstrated, failing repeatedly. Naruto, Bahamut said, you must focus on what you're fighting to protect. The true power of the dragon comes from guarding something dear, someone or something you'd risk your life for. Naruto closed his eyes and thought hard. His mind wandered to his true friends, the ones he cared for deeply and would protect without hesitation. Eventually, his thoughts settled on Hinata, her smile, her gentle eyes. Slowly, realization dawned. Naruto had feelings for her, and suddenly the reason she blushed around him made sense. Unknowingly, golden energy began to flare from Naruto, growing stronger and fiercer, resembling a blazing golden inferno. Naruto, stop, Bahamut shouted, snapping him out of his trance. As the golden flames faded, Bahamut applauded. Well done, he said. You've learned to summon the power, now you need to master using it. Naruto grinned widely. First, the man-dragon said, we'll start with basic techniques. Focus your energy into your hand and lift this rock. Bahamut held a stone that slowly began to float above his palm. Naruto picked up the rock and concentrated until it hovered. Bahamut smiled at his progress. How long will this training take? Naruto asked. About 3 years, Bahamut replied. What? Naruto exclaimed. You need to master both the power and its associated spells, Bahamut explained. Normally, it takes years, but with your talent, it should only take 3. Fine, Naruto groaned. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Hinata sat at Naruto's usual ramen stand, Ikaraku's. Ayame had been down since Naruto left, apparently having developed feelings for him since their first meeting. Hinata enjoyed a bowl of beef ramen when Ino walked in. Is this seat taken? She asked. Hinata shook her head. Ino sat and ordered pork ramen. Look, Hinata, Ino began. I wasn't exactly kind to Naruto before, but I do consider him a friend. You do? Hinata asked, surprised. Ino glanced around and leaned in. Can you keep a secret? She asked. Hinata nodded. I never truly loved Sasuke. I only pretended so I could stay close to Sakura. She was my only friend. Then who do you really like? Ayame asked, sounding more upbeat. I like Naruto, Ino admitted. I've had a crush on him since he saved me from some bullies as a kid. Looks like we have the same goal, Hinata smiled. Find Naruto and make him ours. What's going on? A familiar, annoying voice interrupted. They all turned to see Sakura standing at the entrance. What are you two doing here? Sakura asked Ino. Shouldn't you be with Sasuke while he recovers? I'm not interested in Sasuke, Ino said, taking a bite of her ramen. What? How can you not be? He's Sasuke, one of the best in the village. He's a spoiled brat, Ayame grumbled, not worth the hype. You all like Naruto, Sakura realized. That's ridiculous. Sasuke's way better than that loser. I doubt he's into you, Sakura, Hinata said coldly. Probably lacking in other areas. Shut up, Sakura snapped. I bet he's packing and could keep up with me all night. She gave a dreamy smile. If you were a man, Ino said, and gay. Sakura growled and lunged at Ino, who jumped back and threw her ramen bowl in Sakura's face. Sakura screamed as hot broth spilled over her. Hinata then struck Sakura's stomach with several precise Juken strikes, followed by Ayame hitting her forehead with a frying pan, knocking her out cold. What was that for? Ayame asked Hinata. Hinata smiled. My dad let me train with Tsunade. She taught me the vital points. Those strikes rendered her womb sterile. Impressive, Ino said. Crafty, Ayame added. Back in the other world, Naruto had trained for about a year. He had mastered basic spells like levitating objects and controlling elements. Now he was tackling more advanced magic, including summoning creatures using dragon energy rather than chakra and seals. So far, he could summon snakes the size of anacondas and dragons as big as Komodo dragons. His latest challenge was summoning forest animals. He focused on calling a bird, and cheered when a small robin appeared in his hand. Good, Bahamut said. Now try an eagle. Naruto concentrated, and after a flash, an eagle landed on his arm. You've mastered summoning, Bahamut declared. Year 2 will focus on the dragon fighting style. The man assumed a stance. Knees bent, legs wide, fists stacked one above the other. Copy me. Naruto mirrored every move. When he slipped, Bahamut made him start over. After a year of repetition, Naruto finally mastered the style. Back in Konoha, everyone was growing stronger. Ino had learned her family's jutsu from scrolls given by her father. Hana mastered her clan's style and was developing new techniques. Hinata and Hanabi underwent Hyuga Sage training, gaining an arsenal of new fighting moves without increasing their chakra. Hinata trained secretly, defying the Hyuga Council's plans to seal her powers. Hayashi wanted her to be able to defend herself in case of trouble. Sasuke also grew stronger, secretly trained by Danzo, who wanted control over him. Sakura, meanwhile, remained distracted by her crush on Sasuke. Back in Naruto's world, Bahamut pushed Naruto through his final year, mastering dragon swordsmanship, treating the sword as an extension of his arm. Naruto learned to channel elemental spells into the blade, combining them to create new effects like wind plus water to form ice, or fire plus earth to forge metal. He also learned deadly sword techniques. Naruto, Bahamut said, your training is finished, but I have one last gift. What is it? Naruto asked. I will merge my power with yours, Bahamut said. You'll be able to summon me at will and gain a range of abilities. Thank you, Master, Naruto said, bowing. Bahamut shifted into his dragon form and unleashed a massive blaze that engulfed Naruto. The watching girls gasped. Over 3 years, Naruto had grown close to Sally, Alexandra, and Sarah. He was too old for Carrie but knew someone back home who could care for her. When the flames died down, Naruto appeared transformed. A gold shirt, baggy blue jeans, black boots with small blades on the heels, and a white trench coat trimmed with golden flames and a silver dragon on the back. His hair now had silver streaks. His eyes shone gold with black slit pupils. What do you think? Naruto asked the girls who were visibly impressed. What now? Sally asked. I'm going back home, Naruto replied. I've got a score to settle. We'll come with you, Alexandra said. No, Naruto said firmly, making Alexandra pout. This fight is mine alone. Will you stay here? Sarah asked. No, Naruto said. This is my home now. I want to build a village like my own with Bahamut as leader. You'll train the villagers who want to fight. Agreed. They all nodded. During Naruto's second year of training, Bahamut allowed the girls to join, learning magic and weapon combat. They became formidable fighters. Even Carrie could probably take on a squad of ANBU. Ready, Naruto? Bahamut asked. Naruto nodded. After saying later, when Tazuna returned from work, he looked as if he had witnessed a miracle. He practically crushed Naruto in a tight bear hug. He was about to pull out a bottle of sake to celebrate, but Tsunami stopped him. Once Tazuna settled down, he asked Naruto to share what had happened to him and where he had been these past few years. Naruto sat down and began recounting his adventures in the other world. Everyone listened intently. The two adults looked as if they had just been told Naruto could turn stone into gold. Inari's eyes sparkled with wonder, like a child hearing a bedtime story. I still can't believe those leaf jerks treated you like that, Tazuna growled, taking a swig of sake. How can anyone do that to a kid? I know, Grandpa, Tsunami said softly. I wonder if any of them will try to make amends for what they did. Don't hate all of them, Naruto said, surprising everyone. Not every villager despised me. Some of the Shinobi clan leaders even wanted to adopt me, but the civilian council always vetoed them. It was the civilians who truly wanted me gone. Why just them? Tazuna asked, raising an eyebrow. I guess the Kyuubi caused them more harm, Naruto shrugged. Well, Tsunami said, standing up, let's not sit around feeling sorry for ourselves. I'll start dinner. As Tsunami left, Naruto pulled Inari aside. If you want to learn some ninja skills, Naruto whispered, I can teach you. Inari nodded enthusiastically. Then training begins tomorrow, Naruto said with a grin as they all sat down to eat. That night, Naruto slept peacefully. The next morning, right after breakfast, Naruto began Inari's training. To start, Naruto explained, I'll teach you chakra control. But I don't have chakra, big brother, Inari protested. If there's one thing I've learned, little brother, Naruto chuckled, it's that all living things have energy. Naruto formed a ram seal and instructed Inari to do the same and focus. After a few minutes, Inari finally felt something. Though he couldn't see it, Naruto's enhanced eyes caught a normal amount of chakra rising within the boy. Good, Naruto said. You've managed to bring out your chakra. Now for jutsu. Naruto spent the rest of the morning teaching Inari chakra control and some basic jutsu, transformations, clones, and substitutions. He promised to teach him more once he mastered these. Unbeknownst to them, an eagle watched from a distance. Upon seeing Naruto, it flew away. Naruto heard the flapping wings and glanced up just in time to see the eagle disappearing in another direction. He smirked slightly. They better not pull any stupid moves, Naruto thought as he went inside. Meanwhile, the eagle flew across the forest without stopping for nearly an hour before landing on the arm of a man. This man was a ninja from the Hidden Leaf, dressed in a standard ANBU uniform, though his mask was plain with a patterned design, not the usual animal motif. The leaf symbol was imprinted on his forehead. The falcon perched on his arm, then transformed into a replica of the man, before bursting into smoke. The man received the memories of his clone and smirked beneath his mask. Without hesitation, he turned and sprinted toward the Hidden Leaf village. Back in the Hidden Leaf, Tsunade sat at her desk, drowning in paperwork. She was so frustrated that if she didn't get some sake soon, she might lose her mind. Her headache worsened when Sakura entered. Sakura had been angry at Hinata, Ino, and Iame ever since the restaurant incident. She demanded punishment for hurting Sasuke's future wife, but Tsunade told her to back off. She never revealed to Sakura that her womb was now infertile, her idea of hitting where it hurts. "I want you to train me," Sakura declared. "What?" Tsunade asked, doing a double take. She could have sworn a genin was demanding something from her, the obvious superior. "I said train me," Sakura repeated firmly. "I need to get strong enough to beat Naruto, then Sasuke will love me." Sakura clasped her hands dreamily, until she felt a wave of deadly intent radiating from Tsunade. "Get out," Tsunade growled. Surprisingly, Sakura did something smart and bolted like a frightened rabbit. Tsunade sat back down as her headache intensified. She really needed an aspirin. Her discomfort worsened further when a hunter ninja appeared, telling her to call the council immediately. He had information about a serious matter. After some time, the council convened. "What's so urgent?" Tsunade asked impatiently, annoyed at the interruption. "This man claims to have information about a critical issue," she replied. The ninja stepped forward. "I have located that Naruto boy." "Where?" Hamaru asked sharply, eager to be rid of him. In the end, a team of hunter ninjas was dispatched to find Naruto and eliminate him. Tsunade and many shinobi council heads tried to prevent the hunters from being sent, but the civilian council overruled them. Unknown to most, Root ANBU operatives were embedded in the team. Their mission: capture Naruto and bring him to Danzo so he could be turned into a weapon. With their plan clear, they headed for the hidden mist. Meanwhile, Naruto was playing with Inari when he suddenly heard a voice in his head. "Boy, Bahamut?" Naruto mentally asked. "Yes," the voice replied. "Kid, we have a problem. Your former village has sent hunters to kill you, and among them are Danzo's forces aiming to capture you and turn you into a tool." Bahamut knew this because Kami, Shinigami, and Tozi had kept him informed about Naruto's life. Without that knowledge, he never would have taken Naruto as his trainee. They also revealed who Naruto's enemies were and their intentions. Bahamut's spies, considered dragons even if they were the size of lizards, were scattered across the elemental nations. Unfortunately, his spies weren't the only ones watching. "In the hidden sound village, Lord Orochimaru," Kabuto said, kneeling, "our agents have found the Uzumaki boy." "Excellent," Orochimaru replied. "Take a team of sound ninja and bring him here. If his power is as our spies report, I will finally ascend to godhood among men." Orochimaru's spies had witnessed the event with the goddesses 3 years ago. He had been waiting ever since, as this power seemed to surpass the Sharingan. "In the Hidden Cloud Village, sir," an ANBU reported entering the Raikage's office. "Our network in the Fire Country has located the boy." "Good," the Raikage said. "Send teams to kidnap him and bring him here." The Raikage had several teams deployed in Fire Country. He'd heard of this kid's power and wanted it for his own village. In Wave Country, "I have some business to attend to, Inari," Naruto said, standing up. "Tell Tsunami not to wait for me." Naruto left, leaving a puzzled Inari behind. He stepped into the forest, appearing innocent and unaware of the ninja around him. But Naruto could sense their chakra, smell their sweat, and hear their heartbeats. As the hunters thought they had the advantage, Kabuto emerged from the bushes and approached Naruto directly. "Hello, Naruto," Kabuto greeted. "Kabuto," Naruto replied. "Did that creep of a master of yours send you?" "He did," Kabuto stated. "He's heard about your power and wants it." "Right," Naruto deadpanned, "but first," he turned toward the forest and shouted, "All right, you pathetic excuses for hunters, show yourselves so I can see you." As if summoned, all the ninjas stepped out before Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, the Leaf Hunters' leader, declared, "You are under arrest for abandoning Konoha and will be returned for execution." "No," the leader of the Kumo ninja interrupted. "He is to be brought to Kumo so we can cultivate his power for our village." "You're both wrong," Kabuto said. "He's being taken to the Sound Village for Orochimaru to seize his power." The Root ANBU embedded in the Leaf Hunters remained silent to keep their cover. The teams argued until a sudden surge of power silenced them. The source was Naruto. "Why don't I answer those orders for you?" Naruto said, forming a ball of chakra in his hand. "How about I don't go with any of you, lightning style?" "Thunderball!" Naruto unleashed a bolt of electricity at Kabuto, who dodged easily. The sound ninja behind Kabuto was not so lucky. He was shocked and burnt to a crisp. The leaf hunters lunged forward, but Naruto commanded the trees to attack. Branches whipped down, piercing some through the heart, crushing others' skulls. The Kumo ninja were next. Naruto formed fists from the earth itself and crushed them like bugs. The sound ninjas tried to grab him, but Naruto used his Twilight Eye, channeling the Sharingan's power to engulf them in black flames. Only the leaders remained. Naruto faced them, his Twilight Eye blazing. "Now," he said, his voice dark and fierce, "go back to your villages and tell your leaders that if they come after me again, they will face the power of the Dragon Prince." In panic, the leaders fled for their lives, each heading off toward their own villages. They understood they had to deliver the urgent news to their superiors. The hunter leader arrived at Konoha first. Without hesitation, he stormed into the council chamber. At that moment, the council was discussing ways to strengthen the Uchiha so he could fight alongside them once more and eliminate Naruto. "What's going on?" Tsunade asked as he burst inside. "We found him," the leader announced. "And you defeated him?" a pink-haired councilwoman asked eagerly. "No," the hunter replied grimly, "he defeated us." A collective gasp echoed through the room. "He manipulated the earth around us," the man whispered, clearly terrified. "The trees came alive and slaughtered my men. He crushed others beneath the ground, performed jutsu without hand seals, and now calls himself the Dragon Prince." Shock rippled through the council. They sensed the situation was about to spiral even further out of control. Meanwhile, at the academy, Uruka was teaching when suddenly a thick plume of smoke appeared in the center of the room. When it cleared, a small dragon-like creature stood there, wingless but built like a dragon. The children screamed, and several teachers stepped back in fear. "Are you Uruka?" the creature asked in a deep, rough voice. "Yes," Uruka answered cautiously. "Stay away from that thing before it kills you, Uruka," another teacher shouted. "My master, the Dragon Prince, sent me with this," the beast said, retrieving a wrapped item with its tail. As Uruka accepted the package, the creature blended into the wall and slipped out the window unnoticed. "What is it?" Konohamaru asked his teacher. "It's the headband I gave him when he graduated," Uruka replied with a heavy heart, noticing a large scratch across it. Elsewhere, in the Sound Village, Kabuto was pinned against a wall by a furious Orochimaru. The snake-like ninja had learned of Kabuto's failure, but was intrigued by Naruto's ability to wield the Sharingan's power. Orochimaru released Kabuto. "Get out of my sight," he ordered. Kabuto obeyed immediately. Back in the Leaf Village, the dragon remained camouflaged, stealthily scouring the shinobi district. It found a secluded spot, glanced around to ensure no one was watching, and began digging. Being a wingless variety, this dragon excelled at speed and underground burrowing. After digging deep, it uncovered a vast underground chamber. At the center of the courtyard was the Namikaze clan's emblem. The creature dug until it located a vault. Using its powerful claws, it tore through the metal as though it were glass. Inside, it discovered a large collection of scrolls. The dragon transformed into human form, sealing the scrolls within its arm. Then it pulled out a scroll bearing the Namikaze symbol, but with a fireproof seal. Returning to dragon form, the creature attached the seal to its front leg. Before leaving, it unleashed a massive blast of flame, incinerating the entire complex. Camouflaging itself once more, it surfaced and dashed toward the village's exit, a smirk curling its scaly lips. Later, a group of Route ANBU emerged from a tunnel and discovered the charred remains of the complex. They combed the ruins for anything left intact. Unknown to them, dragon fire burns hotter than ordinary flames, consuming even bricks and stone. Eventually, they found the scroll the dragon had left behind. Sighing, they collected it. Later still, "Is this all?" Danzo asked, holding the single scroll. "Yes, sir," one root member replied. "Fire destroyed everything else." Danzo raised an eyebrow. "How does something catch fire underground?" he muttered. With a sigh, Danzo left and headed to the Uchiha district. There, he found Sasuke and presented the scroll. "What's this?" Sasuke questioned. "A Namikaze scroll," the old war veteran answered. "This will aid you against Naruto." Sasuke smirked. With Namikaze techniques, defeating Naruto would be easy. He opened the scroll, but suddenly a boxing glove on a spring shot out, striking him square in the face. As he stumbled back, he spotted a note. "To whoever opened this scroll, you will never claim the Namikaze clan's power. It belongs only to our master. Find another way to grow stronger, fool. With hatred, the earth dragons. P.S. If you're reading this, Sasuke, Naruto is our master." Sasuke growled, crumpling the note and tossing it aside. You'll regret this, Naruto, he shouted. Meanwhile, Naruto stood at the graves of Zabuza and Haku. He knew that despite his strength, he needed allies to shake the Leaf Village. To you who died protecting what was precious, Naruto said, raising his hands, and you who died avenging her by the will of Kami, I command you rise. The graves trembled, and Zabuza and Haku emerged. We're alive, Zabuza gasped. How? Haku asked, spotting Naruto. You, she exclaimed, shocked but also blushing at how much he had grown. How are we alive? Zabuza demanded. I'll explain everything over dinner, Naruto said, leading them to Tazuna's home. Listening to Naruto's tale, Zabuza and Haku looked furious. They did this to a child, Zabuza growled, gripping his Zanbato tightly. Disgusting, Haku spat. She understood Naruto's pain, but hers was different. Suddenly, a dragon revealed itself. Everyone except Naruto screamed. They seemed stunned when the dragon bowed to Naruto. What is it? Naruto asked. My prince, the dragon said. Bahamut sent me to deliver your headband to the leaf, showing you have no intention of returning. I also bring these. It unsealed the scrolls from its leg and dropped them. Naruto's eyes widened at the Namikaze symbol. Bahamut will arrive in a few days, the dragon told a shocked Naruto. Farewell, my young prince. With that, the dragon vanished, leaving Naruto and company in stunned silence. Naruto examined the scrolls left behind. They contained two techniques created by the fourth Hokage, the body flicker and flying thunder god. The dragon had delivered them last night, and today was Bahamut's expected arrival. Naruto suspected the scrolls were meant for Sasuke. That made him furious. Sasuke had betrayed the village, yet they planned to hand over the most powerful clan's secrets to him. A knock sounded at the door. I'll get it, Inari said, standing to answer. He opened the door to find a large man with eyes resembling Naruto's. Are you Bahamut? Inari asked. Yes, the man replied. Okay, Inari said, then shouted, Big brother. That Bahamut guy is here. Bahamut entered, seeing Naruto seated with the scrolls in hand. I see you've received my servant's gifts, the Dragon King chuckled. Why send these? Naruto asked. The three goddesses taught me every jutsu on the planet. But not everything, Bahamut said. These aren't ordinary jutsu, they were created by Minato Namikaze himself. Why give them to me? Naruto asked, curious. For two reasons, Bahamut explained. One, they were going to give these to the Uchiha, which would have dishonored the clan. Two, they are your birthright. My what? Naruto exclaimed. They didn't tell him, the Dragon King thought. It began on the day of the Kyuubi attack, Bahamut said. That day you were born, your father, Minato Namikaze, was Konoha's hero. He married your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. When the Kyuubi attacked, Minato fought it and sealed it inside you. Why seal it in me? Naruto asked. He believed the village would see you as a hero for containing the fox. What he didn't foresee was the villagers' fear, which turned to hatred and cruelty toward you, Bahamut said sadly. What happened to them? Naruto asked, wanting to know about his parents. As you know, your father died sealing the fox inside you, Bahamut said. Your mother was deceived by Orochimaru into thinking you were dead. She is now the cage of the hidden Whirlpool village. Where is this village? Naruto asked. Not far, just a few miles from here, Bahamut said. You're going to see her. It was a command, not a question. Naruto stood and headed for the door. Be careful, the Dragon King called after him. The Whirlpool ninja are incredibly powerful. Naruto dashed outside. Bahamut sat on the couch briefly before Naruto returned. West, Bahamut said when Naruto opened his mouth to ask for directions. Thanks, Naruto said, then ran westward. Naruto ran for what felt like hours before sensing something. He stopped suddenly, hearing footsteps in the forest. He was not alone. Almost immediately, a volley of kunai flew toward him. Naruto spun and shouted, wind style. Bursting wind. A powerful gust stopped the kunai midair, sending them clattering to the forest floor. The attackers revealed themselves, ANBU, but with whirlpool symbols on their headbands. You're from the Whirlpool village, right? Naruto asked, feigning ignorance. We are, the ANBU captain said. Why does it concern you? I have business with your cage, Naruto said. Why would you want to see her? The captain asked. I have news about her son, Naruto said, sensing their surprise. Come with us, the captain ordered. Escorted by the team, Naruto approached the hidden Whirlpool village. It resembled his own village, though the academy was larger. Instead of monuments for their leaders, They had a walkway of green diamonds with names inscribed below. Naruto noticed the academy tested more than academics. They trained students in ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, and kenjutsu. Clearly, everyone aspiring to be a master was rigorously trained. The ANBU escorted Naruto to a large building that practically screamed, "This is where the cage works." They led him inside, past the receptionist's desk, and into an office where someone sat with their back turned. "Kage-sama," the ANBU captain announced, "this stranger claims he knows something about your child." "What about him?" came a female voice. "He's been dead for years." "What if I told you he's not?" Naruto challenged. "What if I told you that you were deceived into believing he died?" He could feel the shock radiate from the woman before him. "What if I told you he's standing right here?" Kushina whirled around to face him. For the first time, Naruto saw his mother's face. She had pale skin and long crimson hair. Her eyes sparkled green, shining with the wisdom and strength of a warrior. As Kushina gazed at the boy, she saw the features of her late husband reflected in him. "And Naruto," she stammered. "Hey, Mom," Naruto said, smiling. "Naruto," Kushina cried, leaping over the desk to envelop him in a tight embrace. Tears of joy streamed down her cheeks. The ANBU looked on in stunned silence. They, too, had believed their caged son was dead. Now, seeing the striking resemblance to Minato, despite the golden eyes, they were taken aback. Kushina hugged Naruto fiercely, as if she never wanted to let go, but reluctantly released him so he could breathe. "ANBU," Kushina ordered, "fetch the rest of the family. They'll lose their minds when they see him." The ANBU left to retrieve those Kushina had called for. After a few minutes, they returned with 3 individuals. The first was a redhead wearing a red top, baggy black jeans, and a pistol holstered at her side. The second was a blonde with pigtails, dressed in a green shirt and loose blue jeans, carrying a katana and 2 revolvers on her belt. Both girls appeared about Naruto's age. The third was a man who bore a striking resemblance to Minato. "All right," the redhead said, a hint of annoyance in her voice. "This better be." Her words trailed off as she caught sight of Naruto. The blonde looked like she might faint, and the man's face paled as if seeing a ghost. Once the shock subsided, the redhead rushed forward, hugging Naruto tightly. The blonde followed, and the man chuckled as he swept them all into a big embrace. "Mom," Naruto asked when released, "who are they?" "Naruto," Kushina said, "meet your family." "My name's Mariah," the redhead said warmly. "I'm Naruka," the blonde added with a grin. "And I'm Arashi," the man said. "These 2 are your sisters and I'm your uncle." "Nice," Naruto replied with a smile. "So how's life in the Hidden Leaf?" Naruka asked. "They must have treated you like a hero for holding off that monster." Naruto hung his head low. "Sister," he said, "you couldn't be more wrong." The group exchanged confused looks. Naruto began to explain everything, how he'd been mistreated, how his teacher betrayed him for Sasuke despite Sasuke's own betrayal of the village for power. By the end of his story, all of them looked ready to declare war on the Leaf Village then and there. "Those filthy, good-for-nothings," Mariah growled. Naruka remained silent, her face burning with fury. Arashi looked ready to grab a kunai, hunt down Kakashi, and gouge out his Sharingan eye. Kushina seemed about to explode with rage. When everyone had calmed a bit, Naruka asked the question gnawing at her. "Brother," she said, "you said they left you for dead. How did you survive?" "You're going to want to sit down for this," Naruto warned. "It's a long story." They all took seats as Naruto began to recount what happened after Kakashi betrayed him. "The Cyclops abandoned me, yes, but as I was dying, members of the Akatsuki found me." Gasps echoed around the room. Naruto went on, "But before they could extract the Kyuubi from my body, 3 goddesses saved me." "The 3 goddesses?" Mariah echoed. "You mean Kami, Shinigami, and Tozi?" "Exactly," Naruto confirmed. "They were fed up with how I was treated. They healed my wounds and granted me gifts." "What kind of gifts?" Arashi asked, intrigued. Naruto counted on his fingers. "Kami gave me the ability to heal any injury, physical, mental, or spiritual. Shinigami gave me the power to inflict any injury. Tozi gave me control over the earthly elements and the ability to understand all kinds of animals. She also enhanced my senses to be equal or greater than theirs." "I'm guessing that's not all," Kushina interjected. "Nope," Naruto replied. "They also gave me knowledge of every jutsu on the planet and made it so I don't need hand signs to use them. Plus, they granted me a dijutsu." "What kind of dijutsu?" Arashi asked, eyes wide. Naruto closed his eyes and then opened them again. Everyone gasped. His eyes had shifted from gold to green. The whites turned black, and his pupils had transformed into a constantly shifting white compass rose-shaped star. It's called the Twilight Eye, Naruto explained. It combines the powers of the Sharingan, Byakugan, and Rinnegan. They also merged all the Biju sealed within Jinchuriki into me, so I possess their full powers. Oh, and the original bearers of those powers are still alive, with their abilities intact. Everyone looked ready to pass out, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of his power. But there's more, Naruto continued. They also sent me to another world, where I started my own village. There, I trained under the Dragon King Bahamut. Now I can wield magic and summon creatures without using chakra. Faced with all this, they did what they could only do, they fainted. Oh brother, Naruto muttered. A few hours later, everyone woke up eager to see if Naruto truly possessed such power. Why don't you fight me, Naruto? Kushina challenged him, surprising her son. I want to see what you've got. All right, Naruto agreed hesitantly, but I warn you I'm tougher than I look. They headed to the academy. Kushina told the teacher she planned to spar with a young man but didn't reveal he was her son, saving that shock for later. Both assumed kenjutsu stances and charged. Spectators were stunned that a kid could match a cage. Naruto countered every move she made. Suddenly, Naruto jumped back, creating 3 clones, each wielding a sword. All shouted, "Crescent Moon Dance!" The clones rushed forward, slashing at Kushina. Luckily, she blocked their strikes with her own blade. After knocking the clones back, she formed hand signs and yelled, "Shadow Clone Jutsu!" 3 more Kushinas appeared. Naruto smiled as he and his clones battled Kushina and her clones. Eventually, the clones vanished, and both took a step back. Kushina formed hand signs again and shouted, "Water style." "Water bullet!" A huge sphere of water appeared and sped toward Naruto. He didn't move. Just before the attack hit, the ground in front of him surged upward, creating a barrier that stopped the water. Naruto leapt over the wall and shouted, "Lightning style, thunder ball." He formed a ball of lightning and fired it at Kushina, who barely dodged. Unfortunately, a nearby tree wasn't so lucky. Kushina prepared to strike back, but Naruto acted first. Calling on Bahamut's power, he shouted, "Fire Dragon Roar!" The golden energy around him flared bright red, taking the shape of a dragon briefly. He inhaled deeply and exhaled a mighty roar that shook the earth and sent a massive fire blast toward Kushina. She narrowly dodged, but the flames veered toward Naruka. Luckily, they died out before reaching her. As Kushina prepared another move, Naruto used Gaara's sand power to bind her arms and legs. "Do you surrender?" Naruto asked. "Yes," Kushina sighed, "I yield." The students and family alike were stunned. Hearing about Naruto's power was one thing, but witnessing it was entirely different. "Good fight, my boy," Kushina said as the sand around her limbs dissipated. "Thanks, Mom," Naruto replied. Later that day, Kushina stood before her people, family beside her, including Naruto. "People of Whirlpool," she addressed them. "As you know, my son was believed to have died years ago when the Leaf Village was attacked by the Nine Tails." The villagers murmured among themselves. "I have since learned that was false." Gasps echoed through the crowd. "My son survived," Kushina declared, "but he suffered greatly at the hands of the Hidden Leaf. 3 years ago, he was betrayed and left for dead. From that pain, he rose as a warrior of immense power. Today, Naruto Uzumaki stands among us." Cheers erupted. Many knew of Naruto and were upset to learn he was thought dead. This felt like an early gift. "However, he cannot remain here," Kushina said somberly. "He has founded his own village, the Hidden Mage Village. We have forged an alliance, and they shall be our eternal allies. But the Hidden Leaf has fallen from my favor. If you encounter a leaf ninja, kill them. Let it be known that Whirlpool lives and that we are no friends of theirs." The crowd roared, ready for retribution. Suddenly, an ANBU appeared beside Kushina. "Lord Cage," he reported, "we have detained a man trespassing near our borders." "Bring him here," Kushina said, annoyed to have the moment interrupted. The ANBU brought forward the trespasser, someone Naruto never expected to see again. "Pervy Sage, Jiraiya." "Hey Naruto," the Toad Sage greeted, sounding a bit uneasy. "What are you doing here, Pervy Sage?" Naruto asked, clearly not pleased. "I heard you passed through this area and stopped at some mysterious village, so I thought I'd drop by and check on you," the old sage explained. "Yeah, sure," Kushina said, catching the old man's attention. "Kushina," Jiraiya gasped. "You're alive." "I've been here, old man," Kushina replied with a grunt. Some ANBU members were about to carry out Kushina's earlier orders when Naruto halted them. "Let this one live," he said firmly. "I want him to carry a message back to Konoha." He grabbed Jiraiya by the collar, looking him dead in the eyes. "Listen carefully," Naruto said slowly. "Tell the council they'll be seeing me again soon. And when I return, everyone who's wronged me will be crushed like the insects they are. Oh, and tell the Aburame clan I meant no disrespect. I was just making my point." "All right," Jiraiya said. He understood that when Naruto sought revenge, he'd better not be in his way. "Oh, one more thing, old man," Naruto added just before swinging his fist hard into Jiraiya's face. "I'm guessing that's for not being there for you when I should have been," Jiraiya groaned, clutching his jaw as he stood. "No," Naruto corrected. "That's for throwing me off a cliff during training, and for taking all my money when we were searching for Tsunade. This one's for not being there when it counted." Naruto lifted the old man by the collar, tossed him into the air, then landed a brutal kick to his family jewels. Finally, he punched Jiraiya in the face, sending him flying out of the village. "Now go deliver my message," Naruto shouted, "and tell Hinata I said hi." Jiraiya scrambled away quickly before anyone else could lay a hand on him or the gift from Kami. "He threw you off a cliff?" Naruto asked in disbelief. "He's a terrible teacher," Naruto replied with a shrug. Naruto spent a few more hours in the village with his family. By day's end, Whirlpool had formed an alliance with the Dragon Village, Naruto's new home in the other world. Once the treaty was signed, he departed back to Wave. Meanwhile, in Konoha's council chambers, Sasuke was making demands that infuriated the shinobi leadership. "You want what?" Tsume snapped at the arrogant youth. "I want you to teach me your secrets," Sasuke said. Knowing he wasn't yet strong enough to kill Naruto, Sasuke was desperate to gain the clan's special jutsu, but he was failing miserably. "And why would we hand over anything to you?" snapped an annoyed Inoichi Yamanaka. "I'm an Uchiha," Sasuke smirked. "I deserve to know the clan's secrets. After that, I'll take your daughters as well." Some clan members had to restrain Tsume, Dan Nagarashi, Inoichi, and Hayashi from attacking the brat on the spot. "That's an outrageous demand," said the Aburame clan leader. "His name is Shino Aburame." "I need those secrets to restore my clan," Sasuke said. In truth, he wanted strong Uchiha offspring he could control, and when they stopped reproducing, he'd use them as his personal playthings. "He does deserve to revive his clan," said a pink-haired councilwoman. "Shut your mouth, Haruno," Tsume barked. Things might have gotten worse if Jiraiya hadn't appeared in a puff of smoke. "Jiraiya," Hamaru said with a grin, "looks like you finally decided to train the great Uchiha." Several clan members sighed quietly at this. The reasons behind the civilian council and advisors' odd choices were a mystery. "I'm still not training this spoiled brat," Jiraiya said, "but I do have a message from Naruto." The entire council turned their attention. "He says he'll be making an appearance soon, and when he does, he'll crush everyone who hurt him like the insignificant bugs they are," Jiraiya announced, causing gasps. And he didn't mean to insult the Aburame clan with the bug comment, just trying to make a point. With the message delivered, the Toad Sage vanished. Later, certain clan leaders were gathered at the Hyuga estate. "What are we going to do?" Dan Nagarashi asked. "I don't want my daughter married off to that spoiled brat." "Same here," Tsume growled. "I'd rather have my daughter turned into livestock than handed to that worthless piece of trash." "I agree," Hayashi said grimly. He didn't want his daughters hurt. He knew Hinata liked Naruto, and Hanabi was still too young to marry. Plus, the Uchiha's reputation with their women was terrifying. After hours of discussion, they reached an agreement. They called for their daughters, who arrived quickly. Hayashi was surprised Hanabi wasn't among them. "Where's Hanabi?" he asked. "She's busy," Hinata said. "I think she might have found a new boyfriend." It was true. Over the past few months, Hanabi had met Konohamaru. They didn't get along at first, but over time grew close. He had asked her out days ago, and they'd been seeing each other ever since. "Anyway," Tsume said, "we have a problem." "Sasuke?" Hana asked, more a statement than a question. "Sasuke," Dan confirmed. "What does he want now?" Ino asked, growing weary of her so-called friend Sakura's obsession. "He wants the clan secrets," Hayashi said, causing the girls to growl. "And you girls?" Disgusted looks crossed their faces. "We've come up with a plan to keep you out of his reach," Dan said, piquing the girls' interest. "What is it?" Tenten asked, already guessing the answer. "We're sending you to Wave to be with Naruto," Inoichi said. "You want us to live with Naruto?" Hana asked. The clan heads nodded. The girls were silent until Hana exclaimed, Yes, the others smiled happily, surprising their parents. What was all that about? Hayashi asked. You know Naruto hasn't been popular with most girls, Hinata began, except for a few of us. You all have feelings for him, Tsume asked, shocked. Yep, Hana said. But how did you all fall for him? Hayashi wondered aloud. Well, Hana said, I once saw him training himself until his chakra was drained, trying to summon more. His determination is impressive. Let's be honest, Mom, you don't see that kind of will in many men. Tsume nodded. One thing an Inuzuka respected was a man with unwavering resolve. In my case, Ino said, Naruto once saved me from bullies. He beat them up and took me to the hospital. So that's how it happened, Inoichi said, smiling. Then he asked curiously, if you liked him, why did you go after Sasuke? I only did that to stay close to Sakura, Ino explained. She was one of my only friends. Inoichi nodded. Ino had been shy when younger, with few friends. Sakura was one of the few she trusted. My story's similar, Tenten said. Dad, remember when our store almost closed because of no customers? He nodded. Well, Naruto told the Hokage about it, and business picked up again. He saved us. Plus, he has more heart than anyone I know. He spared Neji despite what he did to Hinata. I admire that. Tenten's eyes sparkled thinking about it. My reason started in the academy, Hinata said. I overcame my stutter watching Naruto never give up. He inspired me to get stronger. Hayashi smiled. Naruto hadn't just changed Neji, he inspired Hinata too, he was incredible. So when do we leave to see him? Hana asked. We leave tonight, Hayashi said. The girls went to pack. If they'd looked closely, they would have seen a chameleon on the wall slip quietly out the window. That night, families prepared their daughter's departure. The girls hugged their parents and said goodbye. Just before reaching the gate, they were stopped by Route ANBU. The leader wore a dog mask and had gravity-defying silver hair. Guess who? What's going on? Dan asked, drawing his sword. By council order, the leader said, Kakashi, these women are to be married to the great Uchiha. Over our dead bodies, Tsume growled, flexing her claws. As the ANBU prepared to move, a low growl came from the nearby alley. One ANBU approached and was suddenly pulled into darkness by a massive claw. Screams followed, and confusion spread. Hello, a new voice said. They turned to see a tall man. Who are you? Kakashi demanded. The man didn't answer. Instead, he began glowing bright gold. The energy shaped into a dragon that growled menacingly. I'd move if I were you, the man said as the dragon charged. Only Kakashi and Naruto's allies dodged before impact. Scared, Kakashi fled. Who are you? Tsume asked, impressed. Bahamut, the man replied, King of Dragons. He shifted to dragon form and lowered down. Get on, he said. We have far to go and little time. Where to? Hinata asked. To see Naruto, the Dragon King said. Meanwhile, in Suna, Temari rode the wind, fan in hand, smiling. She had reason to be happy. A few years back, while visiting the Hidden Leaf Village, she met a certain blonde. She admired his strength and courage. After he helped her brother and family, she fell for him. She just never had the courage to admit it. Thankfully, she finally told Gaara. Her father, Baki, wanted her to marry some stranger from another nation, thinking she wasn't doing anything worthwhile. Blind fool, she was reflecting on everything that had happened and the conversation she had with Gaara afterward. Flashback. What? Temari shouted in disbelief at her father's words. You heard correctly, Baki replied coldly. Since you haven't been contributing much to the village lately, I've decided to give you a purpose. You'll be married off to a wealthy man in Kumo. That way, we secure an ally and you'll finally be useful. Temari was furious. The only reason she hadn't been helpful was because she hadn't been given any missions recently. When Gaara and Kankuro found out, she had to hold them back before they attacked their father. I can't believe he's serious about this, Temari said, tears threatening to fall. Kankuro's expression was full of rage, and Gaara looked like he wanted to storm their home and imprison Baki in a sand prison. What can we do? Kankuro wondered aloud. We can't just kill Dad, and we can't just run away from the village either. Maybe we can find somewhere safe for Temari to hide until we figure out a plan, Gaara said, wanting to protect his sister. Temari thought hard, searching for someone who could shelter her. Konoha came to mind since it was the last place anyone would expect. Then she remembered how they treated the boy who had helped her family. A small smile formed as she thought of Naruto, his eyes, his smile, everything about him. Then she recalled the words of the three goddesses. What about Naruto? She asked. He's proven to be a valuable ally, Gaara said, sending his thoughts their way. But we don't know where he is, Kankuro pointed out, dampening their hopes. I do, a new voice suddenly said from nowhere. Who's there? Kankuro asked, reaching for one of his puppets. A servant of the dragon Prince Naruto, the voice answered. An ally will guide you to him tonight. Be ready by midnight. After the voice faded, they heard the scraping of scales on stone, then silence. The three prepared to leave immediately. At midnight, they were out in the desert, wondering where their guide was when the sand shifted and a low growl sounded. Suddenly, the sand erupted and shot off in one direction. They chased after it as fast as they could. End flashback. Temari was gliding on her fan. Gaara floated on a cloud of sand with Kankuro riding alongside. As they followed the sand, Temari grinned, imagining their father's shock when he realized they had disappeared. She also wondered how much Naruto had changed over the 3 years he'd been gone. Meanwhile, Naruto sat on the couch with Sally, Alexandra, and Sarah. He had brought them from the other world a few hours earlier so they could meet the girls from his own world. Bahamut's chameleon spy had informed him of the girls' plans and Sasuke's intentions. Naruto was upset initially, but when he learned all the girls liked him, he relaxed a bit. He decided to bring all the girls together so they could meet, and to prevent any accusations of cheating. They also brought Carrie along, and Naruto chuckled remembering what happened when she met Inari. Flashback: Naruto had just opened the portal to his new village in the other world. The girls all stepped through. After introductions, Carrie noticed Inari. Hi, I'm Carrie, she said, stepping forward. I'm Inari, he replied nervously, unsure how to talk to a girl his age despite being older. Carrie circled him, inspecting him like an intriguing specimen, and Inari felt awkward under her gaze. Do you have a girlfriend? Carrie suddenly asked. No, Inari stammered. You do now, Carrie said, kissing his cheek. Inari reacted the only way he could. He fainted. Carrie giggled and dragged him to his room. Everyone else burst out laughing. End flashback. Inari finally came to, both he and Carrie a bit flushed. It wasn't hard to guess what had happened. After catching up on Naruto's new village, Naruto got up to use the bathroom. Then there was a knock at the door. I've got it, Tazuna called, getting up to answer. He was surprised to find Hana, Hinata, Tenten, Ino, and Bahamut outside. Tazuna frowned at the Konoha headbands but let them in at Bahamut's request. Who are these? Ino asked, noticing the three girls on the couch. I'm Sally, Sally said, introducing Alexandra and Sarah. They all seemed to get along well. Just then, another knock came. Tsunami answered and found Temari and her brothers. She let them in, curious about the newcomers. The girls from the other world were getting used to seeing these new faces. Kankuro tried flirting with all three, but only ended up with a red handprint on his cheek. Just as questions were about to fly, a familiar voice interrupted. Hey, Tsunami, Naruto called from the hallway. I think something's wrong with... His voice stopped as he saw the familiar faces. The girls were captivated by how much Naruto had changed. What's happening? Naruto asked. The girls from Konoha and Suna stared in awe at the new Naruto. Hinata, now over her shyness, blushed deeply. Tenten's eyes sparkled with hearts. Hana grinned wolfishly, Ino's eyes gleamed, and Temari was practically drooling. Seriously, what's going on? Naruto asked again, as no one answered. Hinata snapped out of her daze first. We came to live with you, Naruto, she said, making him smile. She was about to explain more, but Naruto stopped her. I know why you and the other Konoha girls are here, he said, turning to Temari. But why is Temari here? She was going to be forced into a marriage with some rich man from another nation, because she hasn't been going on missions lately, Gaara explained, catching Naruto's attention. Is he really that difficult? Naruto asked, getting nods from the Suna siblings. Well, you're all welcome to stay here until this is resolved, Tsunami said as she returned from the kitchen. Thank you, all the girls said together. The rest of the evening went smoothly until Tenten remembered something Naruto had said. Naruto, she asked as they finished dinner, you said you knew why we came. How's that possible? You can thank the lizards around Konoha, Naruto replied, earning puzzled looks. Even the smallest lizards can be called dragons, Bahamut explained. I have a few placed throughout the hidden villages. A spy nobody expects, Gaara said, shocked. We should probably get some rest, Bahamut said, standing and checking the time. Training starts tomorrow. But we don't need ninja training while hiding, Temari protested, with the others agreeing. Who said it's ninja training? Naruto chuckled. Without more discussion, everyone went to bed, though the girls and the Suna siblings wondered what they'd be training for. The next morning after breakfast, Bahamut and Naruto led the girls to a secluded part of the forest. Kankuro and Gaara left after breakfast to confront their father. Gaara vowed that if their father tried to force Temari into marriage, he'd handle it himself. In my world, Bahamut began, many beasts roam the lands. These beasts are led by a king, and beneath him are the lords. Some people don't expect much from women, but in my world, greatness can come from the smallest things. What does that have to do with our training? Temari asked. Getting to that, Bahamut said, annoyed by the interruption. The dragon lords I contacted recently agreed to train you. Really? Ino asked. Yes, Bahamut replied. The training will last about a month. But Naruto trained for 3 years, Hana pointed out. True, Bahamut said, but a king rules over lords, so his training was longer. Plus, he had much more to learn. So who will train us? Hinata asked, eager to know. Good question, Bahamut said. Based on your elemental affinities. Hinata, you'll train with Alira, Lord of the Water Dragons, located at the Eastern Sea. Ino, you'll train with Orgas, Lord of the Earth Dragons in the Great Canyons. Temari, you'll train with Jordan, Lord of the Wind Dragons in the Southern Forests. Tenten, you'll train with Kersh, Lord of the Thunder Dragons on the Northern Mountains. And me? Hana asked. Hana, Bahamut said, you won't train with a dragon. Your mentor will be Saber, Lord of the Wolves, since you have experience with dogs. You'll find him in the Northern Forests. Hana smiled, excited to be trained by a wolf lord. Wait, Tenten said, why don't those other 3 have to train with us? Because, Bahamut explained, they trained with Naruto while he trained with me. The girls exchanged looks. They had all grown stronger before. They just hoped their new training wouldn't be too harsh. When you're ready, I'll transport you to their locations. You'll train there for a month, but only a few hours will pass here, Bahamut said, seeing their confused faces. How is that possible? Ino asked. The portals bring you back just a few hours later. It'll be like you never left. Ready? Naruto asked, drawing his sword. The girls all nodded. Naruto swung his sword down, tearing a hole in the air and opening a portal. He then opened several more portals to different locations. The girls stepped through theirs, and the portals closed. And now we wait, Naruto said, sitting on the ground. In the alternate world, Hinata strolled along a vast shoreline, searching for her mentor but having no luck so far. She had been wandering for nearly a quarter mile, without spotting anyone. Just as she was about to give up, she noticed the water bubbling a short distance offshore. Suddenly, the water erupted, and something surged toward the beach with such force that Hinata tumbled backward. When the water settled, Hinata saw something that left her breathless. Hovering above her was a dragon. Unlike Bahamut's dragon form, this one had a long, serpentine body with green fins along its head, tail edges, and a long fin running down its back. Its scales shimmered deep blue, and its eyes glowed a vivid green. Are you Hinata? The dragon asked in a soft, nurturing voice. Are you Alira? Hinata replied, her voice shaky. So, you're the one I'm meant to train, the dragon said, eyeing her up and down. Not bad for such a young girl. With a swirl of water, the large beast transformed into a beautiful woman. She had pale skin, flowing green hair, and green eyes that matched the dragon's. She wore a simple bikini with a sash wrapped around her waist, covering her left leg, and a pair of blue sandals. What caught Hinata's attention were the small crossed swords strapped to her back. Shall we begin? The woman asked, still speaking with that motherly tone. Elsewhere, Temari wandered through a dense emerald forest, wondering if the dragon lord would choose to train her. When she reached a wide clearing, a sudden gust of wind was followed by a loud crash. Turning around, she spotted a massive dragon. This one resembled Bahamut's form but was a bit smaller, with jade-colored scales and yellow membranes on its wings. It had small bony spikes at the tip of its tail. You must be Jordan, Temari said, slightly unsettled by the enormous creature before her. And you must be the Temari girl, Jordan replied softly. His voice was calm, almost like a gentle breeze that could be blown away at any moment. Another gust of wind swept through, and the dragon vanished. In its place stood a tall man dressed in green robes, brown leather boots, and a silver headband. A long wooden spear was strapped to his back. Shall we get started? He asked, his voice still tranquil. A few miles away, Hana trekked through the forest, growing doubtful her trainer would ever arrive. Suddenly, she heard something crashing through the bushes. Before she could react, three furry figures tackled her to the ground. When she opened her eyes, a broad smile spread across her face. It was her three combat companions from Konoha. She hadn't brought them along since there hadn't been time. "How did you three get here?" she asked the dogs. "They were brought here by me," answered a deep, gravelly voice. Following the sound, Hana found herself looking into the eyes of a large silver wolf. The wolf's fur gleamed in the sunlight, and its yellow eyes held a wild, fierce glint. "Judging by their reaction, you must be the Hana that Bahamut sent me to train," the wolf said. Hana simply nodded. In a flash of light, the wolf disappeared and was replaced by a man with wild brown hair and intense eyes. He wore mostly blue clothing and black leather boots, with gloves that had clawed fingertips. "Shall we get started?" Saber said, flexing his claws. Meanwhile, Ten was having a tough time. She was attempting to scale a mountain without proper hiking gear and was beginning to question if the training was worth it. After much climbing, she finally reached near the summit but was frustrated to find no sign of her trainer. "Where are you, you oversized flying lizard?" she shouted in frustration. Big mistake. Suddenly, the sky darkened and purple lightning cracked. One bolt struck the rocks just ahead of her. As the smoke cleared, Ten's eyes widened. Before her stood a large dragon. This one resembled Bahamut's form, but was smaller than him and slightly bigger than Jordan. Its scales were a dark purple, and its eyes flashed bright yellow. Three bony spikes protruded from the tip of its tail. "What did you just call me?" The thunder dragon growled, angered by her insult. "Sorry," Ten said quickly. "I was frustrated when I didn't find you after climbing all that way." "Fine," the dragon said, rolling his eyes. With a flash of thunder, the dragon transformed into a tall, slender man. He wore purple robes and brown leather boots, with long black hair and eyes that seemed to pierce right through you. A long broadsword was strapped to his back. "Ready to start training or not?" Kersh asked, raising an eyebrow. Elsewhere, Ino wandered slowly through a canyon, hoping to find her trainer soon. Otherwise, she worried she'd run out of water since she hadn't packed any. Seriously, who goes into a canyon without water? Just as she was doubting her luck, a heavy thud echoed. The ground trembled beneath her feet as a large shadow loomed overhead. Turning around, she saw a massive golden dragon unlike Bahamut's form. This dragon was bulkier, wingless, with a spiked club on its tail, and legs so powerful they could cause an earthquake. "You must be the Ino that Bahamut told me about," Orga said, his voice a deep rumble. "Why yes, that's me," Ino replied, a bit intimidated. A golden flash later, a large man appeared. He had brown hair, a long beard and bronze armor covering his chest, shoulders, shins, and forearms. A huge battle axe rested on his shoulder. "Let's begin," Orga said, his deep voice still resonant in human form. Over the following month, the girls learned many things. They mastered summoning their affinities and wielding them in battle. Each received a weapon matching their style. Temari kept her fan. Hana got clawed gloves capable of tearing through the toughest armor. Ten received a longsword she could wield one-handed. Hinata was given twin swords like Alira's, and Ino had a slightly smaller axe so she wouldn't strain, though part of her training was building strength. They all learned incredible skills, but the final lesson blew their minds. "I can do what now?" Temari asked Jordan. "You can summon powerful armor," Jordan repeated. "It unleashes the true strength of your affinity, granting you at least 4 devastating techniques usable to either damage foes or heal yourself and allies. You just need to focus on your power and let it flow. The armor also boosts your abilities tenfold." "Can Naruto summon armor too?" Temari asked. "Yes," Jordan answered. "His armor is even stronger because it was bestowed upon him by the Dragon King." At the same time, the girls were receiving the same briefing from their trainers, amazed that they could now summon weapons that would amplify their power. This was sure to help them greatly in the future. Almost simultaneously, the lords opened portals to the girls' world and departed. When the girls crossed through, they saw Bahamut smirking while Naruto slept soundly against a tree. Hinata smiled softly and moved toward Naruto. She bent down and pressed her lips gently to his. Just as she was about to pull away, Naruto's hand came up and held her head in place. Hinata moaned softly as they continued kissing. The other girls noticed Hinata's toes curling, knowing it was a good kiss. Eventually, they parted for air. Blushing deeply, Hinata walked over to the others. "So what have we missed?" Hana asked. "Not much," Naruto replied. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes revealed 5 dragons. Ino recognized them as similar to the dragon that trained her, though smaller and less bulky. The dragons approached and bowed to Naruto, then motioned with their tails toward the seals on their backs. They released what they were carrying. A body dropped from each one. The girls didn't recognize any of them, but Temari recognized one from a recent mission. "Hey, that's that sound ninja from the retrieval mission," she gasped. "Naruto, what are you doing with them?" Hana asked. "I'll show you," Naruto replied. Drawing his sword, Naruto shouted, "Healing flame!" A golden fire burst from his blade, enveloping the 5 ninja. When the flames faded, they rose, some coughing. "What was that?" the redhead Teuya asked. "No idea," said Kitamaru, the multi-armed man. "My stomach hurts," groaned Jirobo, the heavyset one. "Feels like I got hit by a wrecking ball." "That stung," said Yukon, whose brother Sukin, currently inside Yukon's back, was waking up. Facing away, Sukin noticed something about Kimamaru, the team's albino. "You all right, Kimamaru?" Sukin asked. "I feel strange," the albino answered. "Different." "You can thank me for that," Naruto said, making the group aware of the other's presence. "You," Jirobo yelled, trying to activate his cursed seal, but to his shock it didn't work. "When I healed your wounds," Naruto explained, "I also removed those seals. Plus, I cured the illness in the albino's lungs." "How?" Kimamaru asked, clearly stunned. "I was told no human medicine or jutsu could fix my condition." "In case you haven't noticed, I'm not exactly human," Naruto said. "At least we don't have to work for that dumb snake anymore," Kitamaru said, surprising the others. "I thought you liked working for him," Tenten said, surprised. "Are you kidding?" Teuya said as she got up. "That jerk treated us like dirt and used us as scapegoats. With those seals, he could have killed us any time. How do you think Kimamaru got that lung disease?" Naruto growled silently. He knew the snake Sannin was cruel with a sadistic streak, but hadn't realized how bad it was. "Tell me," Naruto said, crouching, "how would you like to get back at him and his little lackey?" At the thought of revenge on their former boss, the Sound Four grinned with dark intent. Except for Kimamaru, who never showed emotion. It had been several days since the girls had finished their training with the Dragon Lords, and the former Sound Five had been revived. Since then, the Sound Ninja had regained their strength, and were growing increasingly eager to exact serious revenge on their former master. Their plan was straightforward. Break into the Sound Village and eliminate anyone who got in their way until they reached Orochimaru. Once they confronted him, the Sound Ninja would weaken him, and then Naruto would have his chance. Honestly, if the snake hadn't made Sasuke flee the village, Naruto wouldn't have been exiled. So in a way, Naruto was also settling a personal score. Within the Sound Village, everything seemed quiet. Orochimaru was currently plotting to infiltrate the village to capture Sasuke and use him as a vessel. Kabuto was occupied in the lab, and all the ninja were busy with their duties. Suddenly, without warning, a thick fog rolled in. "What's happening?" the snake muttered as the mist crept in. The Sound Village wasn't near the ocean, so there shouldn't be any fog. Orochimaru felt an uneasy chill in his gut but dismissed it, blaming the sweet and sour chicken he had eaten for lunch. "Kabuto," Orochimaru ordered, "go check this out." "Yes, Lord Orochimaru," Kabuto replied and rushed out with a team of ninja. They searched cautiously, but with the fog so dense, visibility was almost zero. The Sound Ninja scanned their surroundings, and some caught glimpses of movement. The moment they did, they charged forward, everyone except Kabuto, who remained rooted, sensing impending doom. The first Sound Ninja cautiously looked around until he heard a voice. "Lungs, liver, heart, kidneys," the voice whispered. "These are just some of the ways to die." Fear gripped the ninja as he sensed a presence behind him. He turned, but before he could scream, a massive sword descended, cutting through his neck. The second ninja heard the body fall and hurried over, only to be horrified at the sight of his teammate's headless corpse. Suddenly, he sensed something behind him, and before he could react, a hail of senbon needles pierced him with lethal precision. The remaining 4 heard a scream echoing through the fog and rushed toward it. They found the bodies of their fallen comrades. "Coward," one shouted into the mist, "show yourself." A faint giggle responded. They turned to see the silhouette of a girl, her hair styled in 2 buns. "Mystic lightning," she said suddenly, and bolts of purple electricity crashed down from the sky, incinerating the men before they could cry out. Only one remained. Kabuto, having heard the screams of his team, knew charging blindly into the fog had been a grave mistake. "Hello, Kabuto," came a familiar voice. Kabuto turned to see Naruto standing directly before him. So, you're the one behind all this, Kabuto said, trying to mask his fear. He had witnessed Naruto's power firsthand, and knew a sneak attack was his only hope. I know what you're thinking, Naruto smirked, but a sneak attack won't work on me. Even with your strength, Kabuto said, recovering from the shock that Naruto had read his mind. You can't take on an entire village by yourself. Kabuto, 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 Naruto said, shaking his head sadly. Who said I'm alone? Kabuto raised an eyebrow just as a voice shouted. Tremor blast! He spun around just in time to be sliced in half by a vertical wave of energy emerging from the ground. The blast faded moments later, and the mist lifted, revealing Naruto's team, Zabuza, Haku, and the former Sound 5. The only ones missing were Sally, Alexandra, Sarah, Carrie, and Bahamut. Some had changed their appearance. Zabuza now wore a short-sleeved shirt and loose cargo pants. Jirobo had dropped his necklace, wearing a black shirt and long pants, with a rhino tattoo on his left shoulder. Kidomaru, Teuya, Kimamaru, Sukin, and Yukin all dressed alike. Haku wore a loose shirt and pants, without her mask, sporting a ninja headband. All bore headbands marked with a dragon symbol. Sally, Sarah, Carrie, and Alexandra chose to stay behind, not ready for bloodshed, Carrie especially, unwilling to leave her young Inari. Naruto chuckled, recalling Inari's blush at Carrie's words. Bahamut had gone to seek out 4 mages in another realm who might aid them. That was dull, Zabuza said, brushing his sword off on the grass. I expected more of a fight. You can't always get what you want, Zabuza, Haku replied. Besides, we may find tougher opponents inside. With that, the group moved into Orochimaru's domain. Inside, they found a maze of tunnels and chambers. To preserve the element of surprise, the newly formed Dragon Ninja 5 split off from the group. Naruto's team passed numerous labs filled with massive test tubes containing dead bodies, victims of Orochimaru's experiments. Naruto scowled in disgust. He planned to dismantle that snake methodically. As they advanced, Orochimaru awaited them. So, you've been dismantling my men, Orochimaru said. I'm surprised. It's been a long time, Naruto. What? Naruto asked, hoping I'd join you like that arrogant fool Sasuke. Since you crave power, Orochimaru said, rising, I hoped so. I do want power, Naruto said, drawing his sword, but to protect those I care about, not to kill. Cuckoo, Orochimaru laughed. Such a naive boy. He snapped his fingers, summoning a horde of sound ninja via Shushin. Naruto smiled, nodding. At once, his allies jumped out and engaged the sound ninja. Naruto glared at Orochimaru, who opened his mouth, releasing a snake clutching the Nasengi. Orochimaru caught it, the snake retreating into his mouth. Sword in hand, Orochimaru lunged at Naruto. Naruto met the attack with his own blade, Silver Dragon, parrying the strike. Orochimaru growled and tried again, but Naruto raised a knee into the Sanin's gut and followed with a punch to his face, sending him crashing through a wall. Naruto's knowledge of jutsu let him mimic Tsunade's super strength. Orochimaru staggered, pain etched across his face. Not bad for a kid, Orochimaru muttered, struggling to rise. Don't get comfortable, Naruto shouted. Orochimaru dodged just as a massive fireball struck where he'd stood moments before. Naruto leapt from the flames, smashing his knee into Orochimaru's face. The snake groaned but was kicked aside, rolling across the floor. He knew he was running out of options. Naruto was incredibly strong. For the first time, Orochimaru felt fear. He bit his thumb, dragging it along his arm. Summoning jutsu, he called. A massive plume of smoke cleared to reveal a huge purple cobra with black stripes and green eyes. What's happening, Orochimaru? Manda growled. You called me just to kill this brat. He's stronger than you think, Manda, Orochimaru said, hoping the snake boss could weaken Naruto enough for absorption. Absorbing Naruto's body would finally make him a god. All right, Manda growled, but when this is over, I want 100 sacrifices. Manda lunged, but Naruto jumped, bringing his heel crashing down on Manda's head, smashing it into the concrete. Naruto backed up, yelling, Heaven's chains! White glowing chains burst from the walls, wrapping tightly around Manda, who hissed in agony. What's this? Manda growled. I don't know any jutsu like this. Let me explain, Naruto said, approaching the snake. This isn't jutsu, it's a spell. I learned many spells during training. These chains were forged in heaven, and their heated metal burns the wicked's flesh. Naruto drew his sword to finish Manda, but the snake interrupted. Wait, let me join you, Manda pleaded. I can make you stronger. Naruto shook his head. Sorry, big guy, Naruto said. I already have enough power. I don't make deals with evil like you. With that, Naruto plunged his sword into Manda's brain. The snake twitched and collapsed. Naruto then faced Orochimaru. Why don't you just kill me? Orochimaru asked, curious why Naruto hadn't done so already. Because, Naruto chuckled, I'm not the only one with a grudge against you. Hello, boss, a deep voice said. No, it can't be, they're dead. Orochimaru thought as he turned to see his former elite guards standing behind him. What's wrong? Jirobo asked, crossing his arms. Glad to see us, Kidomaru asked, cracking his knuckles. You don't look too happy. We didn't miss you, Teuya said, drawing her flute. Just came to thank you for what you put us through. And we've got a lot of payback coming, Yukin said, with Sukin grinning behind him. Kimamaru remained silent, but the murderous glare in his eyes spoke volumes. Orochimaru, weakened and barely able to move, smirked viciously as he remembered something. You made a huge mistake betraying me, he said, forming a hand sign. To his shock, nothing happened. What? The seals aren't working, he said, surprised his enemies didn't collapse in pain. Simple, Naruto said, catching Orochimaru's gaze. When I revived them, I removed those seals. You have no control over them anymore. Orochimaru might have turned even paler if that were possible. The next several minutes consisted of Orochimaru getting thoroughly dominated. Sukin and his brother relentlessly assaulted him with rapid limb strikes. Jirobo crushed him over and over with his overwhelming strength. Kidomaru hardened his webbing into spikes and drove them into the snake's back. Teuya unleashed the 3 Oni she summoned, who pummeled Orochimaru into the ground. Kimamaru used a bone drill technique that tore through the snake's abdomen. When the brutal assault finally ended, Orochimaru, barely alive, crawled out from the snake's mouth and tried to escape. He probably would have killed the former sound ninja if Naruto hadn't intervened. Burning execution, Naruto shouted, slamming his palm against the snake's chest. Orochimaru was sent flying, engulfed in black and golden flames. The screams of the legendary Sannin echoed across the fields. Awa, Teuya pouted, I wanted to keep beating him up. Her tone was almost childish. Anyone hearing that without knowing her might have assumed she was a harmless girl, rather than the fierce woman she truly was. Sorry, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head, but I couldn't let that giant snake hurt my new friends. Fair enough, Kidomaru agreed. Naruto strode over and hoisted Orochimaru's body onto his shoulder. Get the others, Naruto called out. We've got work ahead of us. Back in Konoha, things were pretty much unchanged. Sasuke still acted like he ruled the world, and Sakura remained hopelessly infatuated with him. Sasuke was furious when he learned the girls he desired had vanished. He attempted to convince Tsunade to declare them missing nin, but she was occupied speaking with Tsume Inuzuka, who was recovering from a broken leg and 2 cracked ribs. Kiba was upset his sister had left but secretly relieved. He knew the Uchiha's harsh treatment of their women and was glad she escaped. Tsunade was buried in paperwork, the bane of every Hokage, when an ANBU suddenly burst through the door. Lady Hokage, he called out urgently, there's something you must see in the village square. Tsunade followed the ANBU outside and had to do a double take at the sight. In the center of the square stood a group of priests dressed in white robes with hoods covering their faces, hiding even their eyes. Each hood bore a golden dragon emblem. At least 7 stood around 2 coffins, silently praying for the souls inside. What's inside those coffins? Tsunade asked, stepping forward to address the lead priest. He did not respond but continued his prayers. I'm speaking to you, Tsunade raised her voice, annoyed at the silence. If you wish to see what's inside, the priest whispered, just look. They shifted aside, allowing Tsunade to approach. She opened both coffins and recoiled in shock. Inside lay the bodies of Orochimaru and Kabuto, what remained of him after Ino had finished her part. The priests immediately ceased their chants. We request an audience with your council, the lead priest said solemnly, as Tsunade regained her composure. An hour later, the council gathered. News of Orochimaru's death triggered varied reactions. Civilians were uneasy about another faction possessing such power, while shinobi quietly rejoiced at the traitor's demise. So, what is this message you bring to the council? Shibuya Burame asked as the priest took his place before them. I deliver a message from our leader, the priest began slowly. And who might this leader be? Hamura asked, curiosity evident. The Dragon King, the priest replied, father of the Dragon Prince. The council was stunned. The Dragon Prince had been a whispered legend since ANBU reported his existence. If this man was truly his father, his strength must be unimaginable. What message? Koharu inquired. He warns you will soon witness the might of his village, the priest said. He and his son will appear at the Chunin exams in a few months. The civilian council members exchanged nervous glances, but figured with the Uchiha backing them, victory was still possible. Additionally, the priest continued, we demand the bounties for Orochimaru and his right-hand man Kabuto. What? Shouted a civilian councilman. You can only claim the reward for Orochimaru, not Kabuto. In that case, we will take our business elsewhere, the priest said coldly. Many villages would pay handsomely for these bodies. Should they learn your village refuses? He let the threat hang in the air, allowing the council and Hawkage to contemplate. Fine, Tsunade relented. We'll pay the full bounty for both. You're insane, Danzo shouted. Paying that will cripple the village. Do you have a better plan? Tsunade challenged. After receiving payment, the priests left the village. Meanwhile, Danzo signaled Route ANBU. His secret pact with the Snake Sannin was still active. They planned a joint coup with Danzo seizing control and the Snakes acquiring the Forbidden Scrolls. Outside the village, the priests were intercepted by a Route ANBU squad. You, their captain barked. Return the money you stole and tell us about this Dragon King. We will tell you nothing, the priest replied calmly. If you attack, our leader will see it as a declaration of war. I believe war is something your village cannot afford now. The captain snarled, kill them and recover anything useful. But as the ANBU advanced, a massive wall of ice erupted from the earth, forcing them to retreat in surprise. No one in the village had such power. What do you think you're doing? A voice called. From atop the ice stood a tall young man, about 18, with black hair and brown eyes. If not for his height, he could have been mistaken for Sasuke. Who are you? The captain demanded. My name is Gray, the young man answered. And I'll ask again, what do you think you're doing? We're reclaiming what was stolen, the captain said. Gray's eyes narrowed, and suddenly a sharp spike of ice shot upward, piercing the captain's chest. Chunks of ice shattered off the wall, crushing the surrounding ANBU. Listen closely, Gray roared. This is the power of the Dragon Village. Cross one of us, you cross all of us. With those words, the ice surrounding Gray and the priests shattered, and when it cleared, they had vanished. Moments later, the priests in Gray reappeared deep in a dense forest. Awaiting them were a blonde woman, a pink-haired boy, and a dark-haired woman. At the blonde's feet sat a small blue cat. How did it go? The pink-haired boy asked. Smoothly, Gray replied. Good to hear, said a voice. They turned to see Bahamut in human form, leaning casually against a tree. The hidden leaf is aware of us now, Bahamut said. It's time to prepare. Agreed, said the dark-haired woman as they readied themselves to depart. You tried to do what? Tsunade shouted at the council upon hearing about the ANBU's confrontation with the dragon priests. We were retrieving what was stolen, Rose Haruno tried to explain. They earned that money by killing that snake, Tsunade growled. No matter what, you had no right. Tsunade, Danzo began but was cut off sharply. Call me Lady Hawkage, she snapped, and remember who runs this village. She slammed her fist against the wall, spiderweb cracks spreading. That's why I'm Hawkage. I'm in charge, not you. With that, she stormed off to her office for a strong drink. Elsewhere in Fire Country, Naruto stood with his brides, Bahamut, and new allies from another world. First was Natsu, a tan-skinned man with pink hair dressed mostly in white. A fire mage who could ignite flames from any part of his body, hands, mouth, feet, you name it. Next was Gray, the ice manipulator who had protected the priests. He resembled Sasuke but lacked his arrogance thanks to a tough past. His ice powers far surpassed Haku's. Then there was Lucy, a tall, beautiful blonde. She and Natsu clearly cared for each other but never admitted it. She could summon creatures with her magical keys. Silver keys called forth constellations, while golden keys summoned zodiac beasts. Lastly, Urza, a tall, slender, dark-haired woman who could equip any armor or weapon at will. She secretly liked Gray, who felt the same, but both were too composed to act on it. Naruto made a mental note to lock them in a room someday just to see what happened. Bahamut had brought them together to aid in their upcoming revenge against the Hidden Leaf. They planned to strike during the Chunin exams, taking advantage of Orochimaru's recent death. So, everyone clear on the plan? Naruto asked after briefing them. The goal was to weaken their forces during the exams and strike at the finals. All nodded. Naruto smiled slightly as the meeting ended. In a few months, Konoha's downfall would begin. Months later, shinobi from multiple villages arrived for the Chunin exams. Some Leaf villagers were anxious, after rumors from an anonymous source that the Dragon Prince and his father would participate, accompanied by warriors from their home. Some feared them, others foolishly believed their side was unbeatable with Sasuke. Everything seemed normal in the village. Sasuke was issuing orders from the Hokage office, Sakura stayed close by, and Lee and Guy enthusiastically discussed the fires of youth. At the front gate, guards stood watch, eyeing the incoming group of 8. There were 2 petite blonde women, a redhead, a girl with blue hair, a stern-looking girl, a pink-haired girl, a pink-haired boy, and a serious-looking man. One guard recognized the man as the ice user from a month ago. "How's it going?" Natsu greeted as they passed. The guards noticed the kanji for dragon on their headbands and immediately knew their origin. "Oh boy," both thought at once. "Dragon Ninja?" Tsunade asked as an ANBU briefed her. "Yes," the ANBU confirmed. "They bear the dragon symbol. The dragon village has come for the Chunin exams." The dragon team moved through the village, aware of the curious stares. They continued until they reached the Hokage Tower, and all 8 entered, much to Tsunade's surprise. "To what do I owe the honor?" Tsunade inquired. She recognized who they were and understood that if she made a wrong move, she'd end up on Naruto's bad side, along with this so-called Dragon King. "We carry a message from the Dragon King and the Prince," Urzu announced. "Our village will be participating in the Chunin exams tomorrow," Natsu added. "Our king and prince will be attending as spectators," Gray said, shooting a subtle glare. "We warn you though," Lucy said. "If your council tries anything against us or anyone else, they will rip this village apart with their own hands." Tsunade nodded thoughtfully. She knew Naruto was the Dragon Prince ever since the ANBU incident. She had Inoichi erase the memories of the civilian council about what happened, replacing it with a story about a hooded man who called himself the Dragon Prince. Only the shinobi leaders, herself, and Jiraiya knew the truth and had passed the message to their children. "All right," Tsunade said, "when are they expected?" "They should arrive tomorrow," Sally replied. With that, the fighters from the Dragon Village departed. Unbeknownst to them, a pair of eyes quietly observed their exit. Author's note: Naruto's new village is called the Hidden Mage Village. They often refer to it as the Hidden Dragon Village to sound more ninja-like. The teams strolled down the streets until they were abruptly stopped by some route ANBU. "What do you want?" Alexandra asked, growing slightly impatient. She had a feeling these guys might try something. "Lord Danzo requests your presence," the leader stated. "We're not going anywhere," Carrie replied, crossing her arms. "You don't seem to understand," the leader said as he reached for a sword strapped to his back. "When Danzo summons you, you do not refuse." The route charged with the intent to capture them, key word being intent. What they hadn't expected was the blonde, the redhead, the young pink-haired girl, and the blue-haired girl all using a fighting style they had never seen before. Those who weren't injured by the girl's onslaught were frozen by the dark-haired one or scorched by the pink-haired fighter. The darker girl suddenly produced a mace and shattered the ice encasing the root agents. The men inside shattered too. "HMPH," Urza grunted, "fools thinking they could make demands of us." With that, the teams headed back to the hotel where they were staying. The next day, they were summoned by the council. Reluctantly, they got up and made their way to the meeting. "I wonder what these guys want from us?" Natsu asked as they were led into the council chamber. "Do they really think they can control us?" Lucy raised an eyebrow. "If they do, they're complete fools," Gray said. "The council does serve this village," the ANBU escort snapped, then muttered under his breath. "But sometimes I wonder what the civilians have been smoking." The ANBU stepped aside, allowing them in. Kakashi sat among the ninja clan heads, having been appointed Uchiha clan leader until Sasuke's 16th birthday. Luckily, this was after the ANBU incident, so he had no clue Naruto was the Dragon Prince. He shot a cold glare at the foreign ninjas. "What do you want?" Urza growled. "You will show respect to this council member," Koharu snapped. "You'll earn our respect first," Carrie yelled back. The clan heads fought back amused chuckles. Even Kakashi let out a quiet laugh. He had to admit it was kind of funny to see Koharu so flustered. "We brought you here to shed some light on your village," Himura said. Secretly, the civilian council wanted information so they could locate the village and take control of it. "We won't share anything," Alexandra huffed. "If you refuse, you'll spend time with Ibiki," Rose Haruno threatened, expecting a reaction. Do we look afraid of death? Gray asked coolly. Fine, Danzo said, losing patience. He was angry that some of his root had been destroyed. He snapped his fingers sharply and several root ANBU appeared. Seize them, Danzo ordered. I think not. A sudden flash of golden light filled the room, and two new figures appeared. The first was a tall man with long black hair clad in white armor from shoulders to feet. The second was smaller, wearing a white trench coat with golden flame designs. His shirt was black with loose jeans and black sandals, and a sword rested on his back. His face was hidden beneath a hood and an ANBU-style mask with a gold swirl pattern. Hint, think Bahamut and Naruto. 5 cloaked figures followed. Guess who? Who are you? Haruno shouted. I, the taller one said, am the Dragon King. I believe you know my son. He grinned as he placed a hand on the boy's head. Upon hearing those words, the root lunged toward the prince to capture or kill him, but 7 more figures joined them. One wielded a massive Zanbato and swung it down on the nearest ANBU's head. The dragon's fangs, the Dragon King explained, my son's personal bodyguards. Father, you know I don't need them, the Dragon Prince said, his voice audible despite the mask. Yes, but why take chances? Now, Bahamut said, turning to the council, what was your intention with my fighters? They killed Leaf Shinobi, Kakashi said. As punishment, they will provide information or scrolls on their abilities. Actually, the Dragon Prince responded, they were attacked first and only defended themselves. If that's why you called us, then thank you for wasting our time. With that, they turned to leave. Stop, a portly councilman yelled. This council D, before he could finish, the Dragon Prince appeared before him, lifting him off the ground, radiating intense killing intent. We're not from this village, he said, tightening his grip. You have no authority over us or any right to demand anything. He slammed the man's head down onto the desk, breaking it in half. The council stared in shock at the display of power. Oh, an old man, the Dragon Prince called as he left. I should inform you that the Whirlpool Village is alive and coming here. The civilians paled. They suspected the Whirlpool Village wouldn't be friendly. As the dragon warriors departed, they all smirked. Though trying to hide it, Inoichi, Tsume, Hayashi, and Dan shared the same thought. Man, he's impressive. Once the Dragon Village visitors entered their rooms, the Dragon Prince removed his mask. Man, Naruto exclaimed, how do ANBU breathe in these things? You wanted to wear it, Naruto-kun, said one hooded figure, removing her hood to reveal Hinata. The others followed, unveiling Hana, Ino, Tenten, and Temari. How did you handle them? Temari asked. She had heard the civilians were arrogant but never imagined it was this bad. I just took what they gave and ignored it, Naruto shrugged. He pulled her clothes and kissed her. Besides, if not for them, I wouldn't have you girls as my future brides. Did you forget about us already, Naruto-kun? They turned to see Kami, Shinigami, and Tozi entering the room. When did they get here? Everyone wondered. Shinigami grabbed Naruto by the collar and pulled him into a fiery kiss. Naruto groaned and kissed her back. Hey, save some for the rest of us, sis, Tozi giggled. Shinigami reluctantly broke away. Naruto greeted Kami and Tozi with kisses. What brings you 3 here? Naruto asked. He was happy but curious. We wanted to see what will happen to this cursed village up close, Kami said. You're welcome to stay, Naruto said. But don't get any ideas, I'm saving that for our wedding night. Shinigami whined softly but understood. How did you 3 end up falling for Naruto anyway? Ino asked. Naruto had told them about his first real kiss with these 3 goddesses, and she was curious about what made them fall. For me, it was how he faced death, Shinigami said. He took it with strength and pride. That kind of strength is admirable. His heart, Kami said. Before now, he bore no ill will. His soul's purity is something someone like me could love. My reason was his respect for the earth, Tozi added. He showed care for all living things, the earth, animals, everything. I was smitten. The girls smiled, hearing their reasons were similar to their own. Now, Naruto said, reaching for his mask, I have some business to handle. What? Hana asked. You'll see, Naruto replied. Meanwhile, Natsu was walking down a hallway when a water balloon hit him. He looked around and heard laughter. Angry, he chased the sound and ran into Lucy. What's happening? Natsu asked, helping her up. Before Lucy could answer, a door suddenly swung open and pushed them inside. The door slammed shut and locked. On the other side of the hotel, Gray was running around, searching for whoever put a rubber snake in his bed. He bumped into Urza, who looked furious and had some cream on her face. "Rubber snake in my bed," he said. "The shaving cream and feather duster trick," she huffed. She meant the prank where shaving cream is put in a sleeping person's hand, then their face is tickled with a feather, making them smear cream everywhere. Suddenly a door opened, and they were thrown inside a room. The door shut and locked. Meanwhile, Naruto watched everything through binoculars. He'd made clones and used the invisibility jutsu on them. Now that his job was done, he left. Later, one of the doors opened, and Lucy and Natsu emerged, both flushed and sweating slightly. "So, does this mean we're?" Lucy asked. "I guess so, girlfriend," Natsu said as he kissed her. Meanwhile, Gray and Urza stepped out of the closet they'd been locked in. The difference was Urza had a hickey, and Gray was putting his shirt back on. "I take it we'll have to do that again," Urza smirked. "Definitely," Gray said, wrapping an arm around her waist. The opening match featured Sasuke facing off against a ninja from the Rain Village. Naruto, also known as the Dragon Prince, was well aware that the matches were fixed, rigged so the weaker contestants would fall and the stronger ones would advance. He suspected a council member had orchestrated this to ensure their favored Uchiha would make it to the finals. Sasuke emerged victorious after using the lion's barrage technique, just like last time. Apparently, he was conserving his energy for the upcoming round. Once the Rain Ninja was escorted off the field by medics, Sasuke returned to the railing, and the next match was announced. Water Serpent, Hinata vs Kurumumuyo. "Yes, I borrowed those names from other anime since I'm not great with Japanese, please don't judge." Hinata smirked beneath her hood at the codename assigned to her. Naruto had provided a list of aliases they were to use while undercover. They were also instructed to only utilize the abilities gained through their training, to prevent the council from interfering recklessly. Though everyone knew the council would likely make a foolish move sooner or later. One of Naruto's hooded companions gracefully leapt from the railing and landed silently. Her opponent was a tall, striking woman from the grass village. As soon as the fight began, the woman started taunting. "You really think you're worthy of him, little girl?" Kirumu sneered, trying to provoke her. "I don't know why you think a man with that kind of power would settle for a runt like you. After I crush you, that stud's all mine." She expected a swift victory, and she got a result, just not the one she anticipated. Kirumu drew a kunai, but suddenly water surged from nowhere, striking her face. Shocked, she noticed rings of water circling both fighters. "What's that?" Sakura muttered. She heard a chuckle and turned to see Gray laughing. "Each of these brides has trained extensively in their elemental affinity," Gray explained, recalling what the Dragon Prince had told them to say whenever the brides demonstrated their powers. "They've developed exceptional control, as you can clearly see." Sakura glanced between Gray and the hooded woman below. If they all had that level of mastery, defeating them wouldn't be easy. Many others shared the same thought. Sasuke, however, was thinking differently. "If they wield such power, then I can use it," he mused. He realized that if he bred with them, he could produce powerful Uchiha heirs and restore his clan to its rightful place at the top. Back in the arena, Kirumu was being pummeled by balls of water. Suddenly, the rings contracted and wrapped tightly around her. Raising her hand, she swung it left, hurling the girl into the wall. When the dust settled, Kirumu lay unconscious, embedded in the wall. After a few minutes, the medical team extracted her and rushed her away to treat multiple fractures. The next bout was announced. Lucy vs Shogi Arminasu. I made that name up, sorry if it's awful. The blonde stepped onto the ground, facing her opponent, a tall, muscular man wielding a massive war hammer. "You might as well quit now, little girl," he sneered. "There's no way you can beat a big, strong man like me." "We'll see about that," Lucy replied coolly. Shogi charged, hammer raised to strike, but Lucy's speed was astonishing. She dodged effortlessly, causing the man to tire himself out. Seizing the opportunity, Lucy pulled out a golden key. She held it aloft and declared, "Arise, spirit of the rhino." A blue vortex opened before her, and a large black rhino with a crimson horn charged out, slamming into Shogi at point-blank range. The impact sent him crashing through 3 walls and several trees. After that came Urza versus Sakura. The pink-haired girl immediately started yelling. "You really think you can defeat our village?" Sakura challenged the redhead. "Our village is full of weaklings, so yes, I believe we can," Urza responded calmly. "Well," Sakura smirked, "even if you beat me, you'll still have to face Sasuke in the final round. He's better than anyone here, including your prince and that loser goth wannabe you have on your team." She was referring to Gray. Big mistake. Urza's expression instantly darkened. Suddenly, Sakura was seeing stars and feeling pain as Urza punched her hard, sending her flying across the arena. My baby, Rose Haruno shouted as her daughter hit the ground. Urza wasn't done. She approached and focused her energy, forming an iron staff topped with a large ball. She can create weapons? Sai asked Gray, noticing. Yes, Gray replied. Each of us has unique abilities we've been trained in. Summoning is Lucy's specialty. Urza's is weapons and armor. In the arena, Urza brought the staff down on Sakura's back. Don't you ever wham, talk about my boyfriend wham, like that. Wham, wham. Wham, Urza managed to say while relentlessly assaulting Sakura's spine. After unleashing her fury, Urza walked away from the now unconscious Sakura, lying in the center of a massive crater. Medics rushed her away with Rose running after them. Don't you think you went a little too far? Gray asked. No, Urza answered, but I know you love it when I get tough, honey. With that, Urza wrapped her arms around Gray's neck and kissed him. Before Lucy and Natsu could question their relationship, Natsu was summoned for his match against a grass ninja. The fight was brief. The opponent claimed that once he defeated Natsu, he would take Lucy and show her what a real man was like. He was eager to give her a ride. The result? Natsu landed a blow to the man's stomach, pushing him back, then unleashed a massive burst of flames. The man was hospitalized for weeks with a broken rib and degree burns. When he returned to the railing, Lucy greeted him with a thankful kiss. Looks like we all paired up, Natsu smirked. Seems so, Gray agreed. The next match, Earth Dragon Ino vs Kasami Murani. Ino stepped down, wielding a massive axe. Many gasped at the sheer size of her weapon. Inoichi stared, stunned. He hadn't realized his daughter's strength had grown to the point she could lift such a heavy weapon like it was a mere feather. The match itself wasn't too thrilling. Her opponent, a man, boasted that if he won, he'd claim her as his woman. His arrogance soon invited lethal intent. He charged aggressively, but Ino simply extended her axe, and he collided with its edge. A collective ooh echoed from the crowd. Ino then hoisted him up, and using the axe like a bat, slammed him into the arena wall. After being declared the winner, she returned to her spot. Next was Gray versus Sai. Good luck, Sai said. He knew his usual tactic of provoking men by insulting their manhood wouldn't work on this calm and composed opponent. Once the fight started, Sai pulled out his sketchpad and unleashed a flock of ink birds at Gray. Gray froze them midair, then formed an ice wall, shattering the birds like glass against a brick barrier. He conjured an ice mace, leapt over the wall, and slammed it down on Sai's head. But Sai's body transformed into ink just in time. He reappeared behind Gray, summoning ink tigers. Gray froze the tigers but grabbed one, hurling it back at Sai, who leapt away. Gray then formed an ice bazooka and fired a missile, hitting Sai squarely and sending him crashing into the opposite wall. The remaining matches were straightforward. Mystic Thunder, Aka 1010, defeated a rain ninja with a few lightning strikes from her sword, her signature move earning her the nickname. Temari, known as Mystic Wind, fought a grass ninja and incapacitated him with a well-placed cyclone, leaving him hospitalized with cracked ribs dangerously close to his lungs. Later, after the final preliminary bouts, the final rounds were announced. The contestants were mostly mages and brides competing against each other, which angered many. They knew the matchups weren't random but kept quiet. Sasuke would face the winners, who'd be exhausted from their prior battles. Even the strongest need rest. As they headed to the arena, Sasuke stopped the mages. What do you want? Natsu asked, uninterested. He just wanted to return to the hotel and make out with his girlfriend. Gray secretly felt the same. I want to know how you got that power, Sasuke demanded. We're not telling, Ino replied. Sasuke didn't recognize the voice, thankfully. However, he noticed it was slightly distorted. Take off those hoods, Sasuke ordered. They complied, but Sasuke still couldn't see their faces. Each wore an ANBU mask, customized to conceal their hair. Ino's had cracked earth patterns, Hinata's showed waves, Tenten's featured lightning bolts, and Temari's was decorated with a twister motif. They donned these masks after their parents' meeting, so if their hoods fell off during combat, they wouldn't be recognized. All right then, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. I expect to see you girls at my place tonight. Say what? Temari asked, an eyebrow twitching. I told you, you're coming to my place tonight. You're going to carry the next generation of the Uchiha, Sasuke said with a sly grin. How do I put this? Urza said aloud, tapping her chin thoughtfully. Oh yeah. No way, buddy. Urza started to walk past him, but Sasuke grabbed her wrist firmly. That wasn't a request, Sasuke said sharply. It's an order. He raised his hand as if to strike her, but Gray anticipated it and punched Sasuke square in the face. Luckily, Sakura was still recovering from the beating Urza gave her earlier, so they didn't have to worry about her screaming about how they should be honored to carry Sasuke's children. It was also good she was distracted, or else she'd be threatening to have Gray killed for hitting Sasuke. Sasuke rose with a scowl just as a calm voice interrupted. Is there a problem here? It asked. They all turned to see Bahamut and Naruto standing behind them. Sasuke didn't notice Naruto's glare, angry that Sasuke thought he could order around his warriors and future brides. There is, Sasuke said, these girls are refusing me. And why is that a problem? Naruto asked, his irritation growing. Sasuke had already put him in a bad mood earlier and he wasn't helping. I'm an Uchiha, Sasuke stated as if that settled everything. They should be begging me to take them and bear my children. They won't, because they don't love you, Naruto smirked behind his mask. Lucy and Urza have found love with Natsu and Gray, and my brides are saving themselves for our honeymoon in a few years. That doesn't matter, Sasuke smiled confidently. I'll go to the council. They'll make them comply for my sake. And why do you think that would work? Bahamut asked. Because they control every ninja under their jurisdiction, Kakashi answered on Sasuke's behalf, though he was clearly growing annoyed with the prince, the king, and their village. Yes, Bahamut said, ninjas under their jurisdiction. But these girls aren't from this village, so even your precious council can't force them to obey you. Sasuke's smirk faded at that. He clenched his fist, holding onto his trump card to bend these women to his will and create powerful heirs. I suggest you leave before my boy here loses his temper, Bahamut warned, aware Naruto was close to losing patience with the Uchiha. Sasuke growled, turned, and left with Kakashi trailing behind. Just as they started to walk away, something warm hit the back of Sasuke's head. He spun around to see the group behind him. Did you just, he started, but a small golden blaze flew from the Dragon Prince's hand, striking him square in the face. Kakashi scowled at Naruto. You just attacked a noble of Konoha, he growled. Apologize. I owe the Uchiha no apology, Naruto said calmly. He tried to take my future wives. For that, I brought him back down to earth. He smirked at Kakashi's angry glare and Sasuke's offended expression. He knew Sasuke might do something foolish if provoked, or maybe he'd actually figure out Naruto's little trap. Take the bait, Naruto thought. Take the bait, take the bait. Then you'll apologize, Sasuke said, charging at Naruto. Naruto caught Sasuke's wrist, lifted him off the ground, and slammed him back onto the banister. Ha, Naruto laughed. If this is your elite, I hate to see what a failure looks like. Kakashi rushed forward, probably preparing a Chidori, but Bahamut stepped in, grabbing his wrist with one hand and smashing his head into the wall with the other. Naruto lifted Sasuke again but this time simply pushed him back to land on his back where he started. Sasuke got up, growling. How dare he do that to me, he thought. I'm an Uchiha, an elite. No one should touch me, let alone hurt me. Kakashi rubbed his sore head, stood and prepared to fight as did Sasuke. Stop this, Tsunade shouted, arriving on the scene. She hadn't stopped the fight earlier because she wanted Sasuke humbled a little, but now she didn't want to deal with an all-out war. Danzo was with her, sharing similar concerns, though he wanted Sasuke alive to use him. He attacked the Uchiha heir, Danzo said, pointing at Naruto. He should be punished. He won't be, Tsunade growled. He was defending himself after being attacked. He hurt the great Uchiha, Danzo yelled. He should be executed on the spot. Silence, Naruto roared. Everyone who knew him was shocked. He was usually calm and collected. This outburst was rare. If the Uchiha wants war, fine, he growled, but I won't be punished for one man's foolishness. You're lucky I'm in a good mood, otherwise the Uchiha's eyes and balls would be gone. Danzo paled, as did others who overheard. If that happened, the village would lose its strongest Kekkei Genkai forever. Like that ever happen, Sasuke sneered, rising. You just got lucky. Your power's probably overrated. If we ever fought, you'd die. I'm an Uchiha, all clans bow to me, as you should, and your women should be throwing themselves at me. The clan leaders groaned at his arrogance. If not for the village spoiling him, he might be less insufferable or at least more humble. Sasuke turned to leave when he heard words he never expected. I challenge you. Sasuke stopped, confused. What? He asked. I challenge you, the Dragon Prince repeated. What, are you deaf? You're challenging me and Uchiha and Elite. If you're so strong, prove it, Naruto said, crossing his arms. Unless you're a coward, Sasuke growled. No one mocked him like that. Fine, Sasuke snarled. I accept. What are the terms? A fight to the death, Naruto said. If I win, your precious Sharingan dies with you. If you win, you prove your strength to the ninja world. How does beating you prove that? Danzo asked. Because, Naruto said, during the exam, other villages will be watching. They'll spread word of your power across the elemental nations, and your name will be known by all. Sasuke grinned. After that, the Uchiha name would be feared and respected even more. I agree, Sasuke said, but I want one more thing if I win. And what's that? Naruto raised an eyebrow behind his mask, already guessing. I want the secrets of your power, your father to train me, and those girls to become my personal servants. He looked at the girls and licked his lips. The girls shuddered mentally at the vile look. I accept, Naruto said, extending his hand. They shook, Sasuke smirking, confident he'd win. We fight at the end of the Chunin exams your match, Naruto said, crossing his arms, already planning to wash his hands thoroughly after. Sasuke nodded and left with Kakashi to train. Danzo plotted ways to make him stronger. Naruto smiled under his mask. All according to plan, he thought. 1 month later. News of the deathmatch between Naruto and the Dragon Prince spread fast. Nearly the entire village gathered to watch. Some had even come early for the preliminaries, which were mostly catfights. Perverts. The arena was packed. Tsunade sat with the cages and the wind, water, and fire daimyos. They'd said they'd come, but if Konoha remained incompetent, they threatened to send samurai armies to wipe them out. With her were Bahamut, Naruto, the clan heads, and another cloaked woman, Hana. Civilians were eager for Sasuke to crush the Dragon Prince. Sakura, now in a wheelchair after Urza's beating, sat with her mother who wanted to witness Sasuke's victory. What fools! After Tsunade's speech outlining the event, the first two fighters were called. Lucy faced Urza, both preparing for battle. May the best mage win, Lucy smiled. I intend to, Urza grinned. At the start, Urza formed a mace and charged. Lucy dodged and kicked Urza's head, knocking her back. Lucy pulled out a silver key. Time to show you my secret summon, she said, turning the key to open a portal. What emerged wasn't what Urza expected, a man with a rhino's head in a superhero suit with a red H on his chest. Opponent, he declared, fear the mighty horn of battle. He charged, ramming his massive horn into Urza's chest and sending her crashing into the wall. Thanks, Hal, Lucy said, shaking the rhino man's hand. Don't mention it, Lucy, Hal replied, then vanished as Lucy ended the summon. A battered Urza rose from the wall. Wow, that horn really cuts deep. Then she collapsed, unconscious. The crowd exchanged confused glances at the strange summon's victory, but as long as Urza survived, it wasn't their concern. Urza was carried off, and Gray and Natsu were brought out. This is gonna be good, Bahamut said. Why? Tsunade asked. Natsu's fire, Gray's ice, Bahamut explained. Opposites and rivals. Expect a wild fight. You might want to prepare medicine for burns and frostbite. Back in the ring, the two stared each other down. The match began. Natsu's hand burst into flames as he swung at Gray's chest, but Gray dodged and blasted him with ice. The ice melted quickly in the heat. Natsu's foot ignited as he kicked, but Gray narrowly avoided it, catching Natsu's ankle. Natsu countered with a solid kick to Gray's face, knocking him back. Natsu breathed deeply, unleashing a massive fireball. Gray raised an ice wall to block it, then summoned ice pistols and fired. Natsu dodged most but took some hits on his arm. Both fighters then closed their eyes and focused. Suddenly, a burst. The upcoming battle was meant to be between Naruka and Mariah, but both refused to face their sister. Sally, Sarah, Alexandra, and Carrie also declined to fight. This stirred some anger among the crowd. Why don't you toughen up and fight, you worthless bitches? Someone shouted. That's why you'll never measure up to Sasuke. Clearly, it was Sakura's voice. She had heard that Sasuke had tried to recruit the girls, but they turned him down. Her anger was palpable. The insults might have continued if a sudden wave of murderous intent hadn't cut through the air. Everyone turned toward the source, and saw the Dragon Prince engulfed in golden flames, exuding so much hostility that the ANBU immediately went on high alert, and the samurai stationed outside the arena readied their weapons. The daimyos trembled, the cages shook, and several civilians vomited their entire meals from breakfast, lunch, and even yesterday's dinner. The janitor was definitely going to be furious. Once Naruto calmed down and the mess was partially cleaned, the next match was announced. Water Serpent vs. Earth Dragon. Naruto grinned, knowing these fighters were evenly matched and wouldn't hold back. The two stepped forward and removed their cloaks, prompting a wave of wolf whistles from the crowd, followed by the usual smacks as their partners hit the whistlers. Earth Dragon wore a loose golden battle kimono that revealed part of her chest and had a sash slit up the side showing off her slim legs. Water Serpent sported a blue version but with a bikini top. Earth Dragon rested her axe on her shoulder while Water Serpent drew her swords, ready to fight. They charged at each other immediately. Water Serpent went on the attack, swinging her swords fiercely. Earth Dragon blocked with her axe, then caught one sword, thrusting her free fist into Water Serpent's stomach. The latter staggered but recovered, though not quickly enough. Magnitude level 7, Earth Dragon bellowed, slamming her fist into the ground. A powerful quake shattered the arena floor, causing a large crack. Water Serpent was caught off guard and unbalanced. Earth Dragon smirked and turned to leave, but suddenly felt a surge of energy. She glanced back as water began flooding the chasm she had created. From the depths, Water Serpent burst forth, now wearing body armor. Her chest plate mirrored her old outfit, but was reinforced with metal protecting her stomach, neck, and shoulders. Blue arm guards adorned with green crystals covered her forearms, and she wore black gloves. Her legs were armored with blue-heeled boots, featuring green fins on the forearms and backs of the boots. Her swords had changed too, their blades a sea blue with dragon head designs on the hilts. Earth Dragon was momentarily stunned, but regained composure and started glowing gold. In a flash, she transformed into a golden vixen clad in thick armor that perfectly outlined her body. Unlike water serpents, her armor resembled traditional battle gear rather than a bikini top. Gold arm guards featured red crystals on the hands, paired with black gloves and heeled boots. Her axe had become fully golden, complete with a spike at the bottom of the handle. Everyone watched in awe at the armored forms of the two warriors. Sasuke's eyes gleamed with desire. The more power they displayed, the more he coveted them. He silently vowed that after defeating the Dragon Prince, he would claim these two first. The combatants faced off again, their movements faster and fiercer. Each clash of weapons shook the ground beneath them. After several minutes of intense fighting, they grew bored and decided to end it. Both leapt back and began to glow. Striking Serpent Queen, Water Serpent shouted as a pool of water appeared behind her, and a water-formed copy of her master emerged, growling. Crushing Dragon Lord. Earth Dragon yelled as the earth behind her rose, revealing a glowing earthen version of her master. The two beasts snarled at each other. What are those creatures? Danzo asked. Those are the Dragon Lords, Bahamut explained, capturing everyone's attention. They are elemental beasts. Water Serpent is Alira, Dragon Lord of Water, and Earth Dragon is Orgaz, Dragon Lord of Earth. There are two more, but you will meet them later. Danzo smiled beneath his bandages, intrigued. When Sasuke uses them to rebuild his clan, maybe I can breed super soldiers for Root with this power, he mused, imagining the strength he could amass. Back in the arena, the two girls charged with their dragon companions. Their collision produced a massive explosion that shook half the village. When the dust settled, the girls were far apart, weapons in swinging position. Water Serpent stumbled while Earth Dragon chuckled, only to groan and collapse moments later. In the cage booth, Inoichi and Hayashi smiled quietly, impressed by their children's raw power. After a short rest, Earth Dragon stood again, just as some spectators emerged from the medical tents. They had heard the commotion and wanted to see the Dragon Prince thrash Sasuke. While Earth Jutsu repaired the arena, an intermission was declared, allowing the crowd to use the facilities. Many rushed to the restrooms, unwilling to miss a single fight. During the break, Sakura approached Naruto's brides and sisters. What do you want, Pinky? Earth Dragon asked coldly. I'm asking why you're with that Dragon Prince, Sakura sneered. Sasuke's way better than him. Why don't you dump that loser and be with a real man? They never learn, everyone thought. There's nothing you say that'll make us choose that skinny, worthless, power-hungry jerk you worship. Mystic Wind snapped, her irritation clear. Though she was already taller than Sakura, Mystic Wind's towering presence over the girl in the wheelchair made her look even more intimidating. Sakura decided she didn't want any more trouble and wheeled away as fast as she could. After the arena was cleaned and everyone ate, the next match was announced. Mystic Wind and Thunder entered, casting off their cloaks. Wind wore a loose green battle kimono that stopped at her knees. Thunder sported a tight sleeveless shirt and loose jeans. She removed the broadsword from her back and assumed a sword stance. Wind readied her battle fan. Both smiled beneath their masks, remembering their last encounter at the Chunin exams. Thunder lunged first, attempting to sever Wind's head, but the fan blocked the sword. Wind pushed her arm forward, sending a gust that sent Thunder flying backward. Thunder backflipped, landed by the wall, and charged her sword with lightning. "Lightning strike," she yelled, swinging in a downward arc. Wind jumped aside, landing several feet away. "Striking gale," Wind cried, summoning a small tornado that hit Thunder in the chest. Instead of faltering, Thunder rode the wind upwards, spinning like a drill as she descended with a shout, "Thunder drill." She nearly cut through Wind, but Wind's fan blocked her attack. Thunder then kicked Wind in the stomach, bending her over before following with a flurry of precise punches. The daimyos watched, impressed. "You've trained your students well," the Wind daimyo commented. "I didn't train them," Bahamut said. "My students did." "Your students?" the Water daimyo asked. The only female among them, Tsum and Hana, codenamed White Fang, felt she'd seen this daimyo before and made a mental note to ask later. "Yes," Bahamut replied, unsure what else to say. "Alira, Orgaz, Jordan, and Kersh were all once my pupils. The dragons you saw are manifestations of their power." "So you train their teachers?" Danzo asked. "If he trained them, I don't want to imagine how strong he is," Danzo and others thought simultaneously. Back in the arena, the fight had reached a stalemate. The two women pressed their weapons together, each pushing hard to overpower the other. Eventually, they were thrown back but landed gracefully. Wind raised her hands as a green tornado surrounded her. When it cleared, she wore armor. The green plates hugged her figure, with gauntlets featuring yellow gems and white gloves. Her upper legs were also armored, and she wore heeled boots reaching her knees. Her wings, green with yellow membranes, extended from her back. Her fan now had red spikes and revealed 3 flat blades when opened. Thunder decided to escalate as well. Storm clouds gathered above, and a bolt of purple lightning struck her. Dan gasped, fearing for his daughter, but when the light faded, she wore armor similar to Temeri's, purple with black gloves and leg coverings. The crystals on her gloves and wing membranes were black. Her sword had grown slightly larger, its blade a deep purple streaked with black. The two girls faced off once more, but this time Wind took the initiative. She closed the distance rapidly, nearly landing a powerful punch on her friend. Fortunately, Thunder's armor boosted her speed enough to block the blows and counter with several sword strikes. Sparks flew where sword met armor. Wind managed to land a solid hit on Thunder's jaw, staggering her back slightly before unleashing one of her more devastating attacks. "Galaxy Storm," she shouted, opening her fan wide and unleashing a fierce gale meant to crush Thunder. Thunder quickly spread her wings and soared upward just in time to avoid the blast. Wind took to the air as well, diving at her opponent. The two clashed midair, locked in a deadlock. Inside the cage box, Gaara watched in amazement at his elder sister's immense power. A sly grin crossed his face as he imagined the punishment she would deliver to these fools when the Leaf Village's brutal reckoning came. Meanwhile, Kankuro cursed silently. As a child, he vowed to protect his sister. But if she was this strong and Naruto even stronger, how could he possibly keep her safe? Still, he smiled at the thought of her being guarded by her future husband's embrace. Back in the sky, the two girls grew weary of their stalemate and decided to unleash their ultimate techniques for a grand finale. "Ultimate Storm," Wind yelled as the wind whipped up fiercely around her, coalescing into glowing green energy that shaped into Jordan, a massive beast roaring at Thunder. Thunder drew her sword and raised it high. "Majestic Lightning," she shouted as violet lightning struck behind her, forming Kersh, a powerful lightning dragon that roared thunderously at Wind and Jordan. Wind snapped her fan shut, green energy swirling around it, while Thunder's sword crackled with violet lightning. Both assumed a battle stance and charged, colliding with a tremendous clang that sparked a huge explosion. When the smoke cleared, Wind lay unconscious on the ground, while Thunder stood tall. She lifted Wind and carried her back to the fighter's booth where, after a few minutes, Wind regained consciousness. "The moment has arrived," Sasuke thought as the girls returned to their corner. Almost immediately after they entered, a burst of golden flames erupted in the ring, revealing the dragon prince standing poised. "Take a good look at him, ladies," Sasuke said to the girls, This will be the last time you see him alive. With that, he leapt down, ready to fight. Sasuke landed opposite the Dragon Prince, preparing for the battle. You might as well give up now, loser, Sasuke taunted arrogantly. It'll only make your defeat more humiliating. Victory is never guaranteed, the prince replied calmly. You still must overcome whatever stands before you. And I won't go down without a fight. Voices rang out from the stands. That prince doesn't stand a chance against an Uchiha. I wonder if he'll remove that mask. I want to see who's behind it. Among the crowd were Konohamaru and his friends Mogi and Udon, along with Konohamaru's girlfriend Hanabi. I can't believe these fools, Konohamaru said. They really think the Uchiha will beat this guy. Do you think the prince will win? Hanabi asked. I'm not sure, he replied, but I've heard he's incredibly powerful. They say he took on 3 ANBU teams from 3 villages and won. Ha, a man behind them scoffed. That's probably just hype. He'll be dead in minutes. The Dragon Prince chuckled. Do you hear that? He asked, seeing Sasuke's confused look. They talk about you beating me, Uchiha. It's time for a reality check. Then, with a speed even the cages couldn't track, the prince charged and struck Sasuke's chest with a powerful punch, sending him flying into the ring wall. Gasps and cries of Sasuke-kun erupted from the crowd, mostly from the girls who idolized him. Those closest to him, or who disliked the Uchiha, weren't surprised. Today, Naruto shouted to the crowd, you all get your wake-up call. About time too. Sasuke groaned and struggled to stand, clutching his chest. Where did he get such strength? Sasuke wondered. Sasuke charged again, aiming a strike, but Naruto dodged every hit and blocked several kicks. Growing bored, Naruto caught Sasuke's fist and tossed him over his shoulder. Sasuke landed on his feet through a kunai, but Naruto drew his sword and deflected it. Naruto smirked. Let me show you what I can do. Dragon Slash. His sword glowed as he swung, sending a golden arc of energy at Sasuke, who took the full blast but remained standing. Impressive, the prince said, sheathing his sword. Few withstand a strike from my blade. That's what you get for underestimating an Uchiha, Sasuke sneered. Well then, Naruto said, time to get serious. Lightning style. Arc wave. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, which now had the third Kama in each eye from their fight at the Valley of the End, trying to replicate the jutsu, but to his surprise, he couldn't. Kakashi also failed to copy it. Why can't I mimic that technique? They both wondered. Naruto formed a bolt of lightning in his palm and hurled it at Sasuke, hitting him hard. If you're wondering why you couldn't copy my technique, it's because I didn't use hand signs, the Dragon Prince explained, making Sasuke growl. Sasuke rose, performed hand signs, and shouted, Fire style, Grand Fireball. Naruto countered, Fire Dragon Roar. He inhaled deeply and swallowed the fireball, shocking everyone. Then he released a massive fiery roar, blasting a wave of flame at Sasuke, now the last Uchiha alive since Itachi was dead. Sasuke focused, his Sharingan shifting into a shuriken-like pattern. Black flames erupted, countering Naruto's fire attack. Amaterasu, Naruto thought. Madara must have passed some of his power onto Sasuke before he died. Sasuke smirked. Now I'll show you true Uchiha strength. He activated Tsukuyomi and trapped Naruto in a powerful genjutsu. Naruto, however, revealed his twilight eye beneath his mask and dispelled it. Then he dropped to the ground, feigning fear. Sasuke lunged to finish the fight, but Naruto jumped up and caught his fist. How? Sasuke asked. Stunned, someone had escaped one of the clan's strongest illusions. I have an ability to see through all genjutsu, even Tsukuyomi, Naruto said, before punching Sasuke's stomach repeatedly and kicking him away. Sasuke stood after a moment and activated his curse mark, strange markings spreading over his body. So he's desperate enough to call on the snake's power, Bahamut thought, watching. You trained your son well, the water daimyo said. Actually, Bahamut replied, he's not my son. Everyone looked at him as he explained. I trained him as a favor to some friends. Plus, his father helped me. His father? Sakura asked. A nobleman from this village, the king said. He aided me during the ninja war. I owed him. The prince calls me father because I'm like one to him, and the training was like an adoption. Sakura was silent, then smiled inwardly. This will teach that loser not to mess with Sasuke, she thought. Back in the ring, Naruto noticed the marks appearing and grinned. Getting desperate, huh? He teased, angering Sasuke. Sasuke charged, chakra visibly flowing as golden energy erupted from Naruto. They collided and grappled fiercely. In another booth, Kakashi realized he had to assist his student. Kakashi, what are you? Kurenai started to ask, but stopped as Kakashi leapt down and sped toward the prince, who seemed unaware. Luckily, Naruto heard Kakashi's movement. With his twilight eye still active, he used the Byakugan part to see Kakashi approaching. Seeing chakra gathering in Kakashi's eye, he anticipated a Chidori. Naruto shifted his weight and threw Sasuke into Kakashi just as the Chidori struck. The impact sent both flying. How did he anticipate my move? Kakashi wondered as his eyes locked on the Dragon Prince. Suddenly, cracks appeared on the prince's mask. He lowered his head slowly as fragments of the mask slipped to the ground. The crowd held their breath, waiting for the prince to raise his face. Everyone watched intently, except for those who already knew his identity. The Dragon Prince reached inside his pocket and pulled out a headband from the Dragon Village. Then, grabbing the material tied at the base of his neck, he removed it to reveal a messy crown of spiky blonde hair. It can't be, Kakashi thought as the prince tied the headband around his forehead. He's supposed to be dead. Sasuke's eyes grew wide at the sight as the prince lifted his face to show the unmistakable features of Naruto Uzumaki. All right, Konohamaru shouted. The leader has returned. His friends erupted in cheers. Other genin and villagers, along with their families, smiled. Those who didn't harbor hatred for Naruto grinned proudly. Finally, the one the village once shunned had come back to settle scores. Outside the arena, hidden behind a telescope, Jiraiya watched with a smirk, noting the shock and disbelief on the crowd's faces. The demon has returned, a bystander shouted, breaking the silence. Moments later, an icicle pierced his chest, courtesy of Gray. The others fell silent, unwilling to suffer the same fate. Shall we proceed? Naruto asked as Kakashi and Sasuke stood up. Kakashi revealed his Sharingan eye and activated its ultimate form. Sasuke kept his Sharingan active and charged alongside Kakashi. Their fists collided hard against each other's chests. As they recovered, they looked up to find Naruto vanished. Earth-style, headhunter, Naruto's voice echoed, and Sasuke suddenly found himself buried up to his neck underground. Naruto erupted from the earth a few feet away, turning to face Kakashi. Time to settle the score, you damned fool, Naruto said, crossing his arms in front of his old mentor. Kakashi, he began, I don't know how you gained this power, but I'll kill you just like I did 3 years ago. Kakashi lunged, only to swing through empty air before Naruto kicked him hard in the stomach and punched him in the face. Kakashi struggled to get up and fight back, but Naruto disappeared, and before anyone realized it, Naruto was behind Kakashi, who was clutching his face and screaming in agony. He didn't, Asuma whispered. He did, Guy replied grimly. That leaves only one Sharingan user. If the legends about Naruto's power are true, the Sharingan will vanish today. Kakashi, Naruto said, turning to face his former teacher, it's time to pay for your sins. Naruto assumed a familiar stance, legs spread, one arm extended downward, palm facing the ground. Chakra gathered in his hand, forming a Chidori. How did he master my technique? Kakashi thought as he watched the glow intensify. The Chidori brightened, shifting from silver lightning to a golden flame-infused blade. Naruto swung his arm to the side and shouted, Dragon Reikari, launching forward at lightning speed. Faster than even Guy, he drove the attack deep into Kakashi's chest. Kakashi groaned, collapsing in pain. At that moment, Sasuke managed to wriggle free from the earth and glared at Naruto, the one who had just wounded his sensei. You're next, Uchiha, Naruto said, crossing his arms. Sasuke snarled and charged, but Naruto caught his hand and punched him in the face, sending him flying back against the arena wall. Sasuke, Naruto said coldly, your clan has a habit of betraying and endangering others for power. You're no different from your older brother. Sasuke growled and lunged again, this time drawing a sword from a scroll. Some civilians smiled, confident that the famed Uchiha swordsmanship would prevail. Fools, Naruto thought. Naruto drew his own sword, and the blades clashed. Sasuke swung wildly, hoping to overwhelm Naruto's defense with sheer force, until Naruto caught the sword and flung Sasuke backward. Shadow Sword Clone, Naruto declared, creating an identical sword. Taking a battle stance, he shouted, Ancient sword technique, 10,000 raining cuts. He unleashed a flurry of sword strikes that rained down on Sasuke. Though he blocked some, many cuts sliced through, leaving wounds across Sasuke's back, arms, and legs. Sasuke growled and stood, clutching his dropped sword despite the pain. You're tougher than I thought, Uchiha, Naruto smirked. Sasuke's curse mark flared, healing his injuries and altering his form. His skin darkened, hair turned purple, and black markings appeared. His Mangekyou Sharingan glowed fiercely. Suddenly, large hands burst from his back. His curse mark had advanced to stage 2. I remember this, Naruto said, arms crossed. The form you used in the Valley of the End fight. Honestly, I'm surprised the mark's still active after I killed that snake. Sasuke growled and readied for battle. Well then, Naruto said, sheathing his sword. If you're going full power, I'll do the same. Golden energy burst forth, revealing Naruto clad in white armor with a large green gem embedded in the chest. Gold trimmed his shoulders, arms, and legs. Bladed boots and gauntlets adorned his limbs. Crystal wings spread from his back. His sword now gleamed with rubies spiraling along the blade. Facing the transformed Sasuke, Naruto prepared to end the conflict that began 3 years prior. Sasuke charged, swinging his sword, but instead of clashing, the blade shattered like glass on stone. The crowd gasped. The Uchiha sword was believed unbreakable. Naruto seized the moment and delivered a powerful uppercut, sending Sasuke flying. Naruto followed and slammed his fist into Sasuke's stomach. As Sasuke hit the ground, he looked up in defeat. Naruto landed, wings still extended, and asked, "Any final words?" "How did you get this power, Dobi? I deserve it more. I'm an Uchiha, an elite," Sasuke spat. Naruto shook his head. "Such a waste," he said. Placing a hand on Sasuke's head, Naruto unleashed Shinigami's power, making Sasuke feel every ounce of pain he had ever caused. Naruto rose and shouted, "Golden Fury!" His golden energy coalesced into Bahamut, the terrifying dragon who charged Sasuke. The impact echoed worldwide. Boom! The explosion engulfed the arena in smoke. When it cleared, Naruto floated above a massive crater, the spot where Sasuke once stood. The last Uchiha had fallen, and with him, the Sharingan was extinguished. With that done, Naruto soared into the sky and declared, "Konoha, your reckoning has arrived." Suddenly, a team of Root Anbu appeared and attacked Naruto. Earth Dragon stepped forward, and with one mighty swing of her axe, sent them flying. Removing her mask, she revealed Ino's face. "Ino," Sakura gasped. Other girls revealed themselves, causing gasps throughout the crowd. "Traitors!" Danzo shouted. "You'll perish with the demon." More Root appeared, but Naruto invoked Shinigami's power, destroying their hearts with a mere glance. Danzo tried to summon reinforcements when the water daimyo leapt from her seat and slashed across his face with clawed hands. Turning to Tsume, the daimyo smiled under her hood. "Hey, auntie." "Arin," Tsume stammered as the woman revealed Inuzuka markings on her cheeks. Tsume smiled and embraced her long-lost relative. Danzo tried to strike, but Bahamut's fist smashed into his face, sending him crashing through concrete. Civilians scattered as ninjas flooded the arena, thinking their numbers would overwhelm them. Instead, they were frozen by Gray, shattered by Urza, or incinerated by Natsu. Naruto leapt up to the cage platform, where the ninja clan leaders, daimyos, Jiraiya, and Tsunade were gathered. Surprisingly, Rose and Sakura Haruno were there as well. Naruto fixed a cold glare on Sakura. "We need to settle something," he stated. A Root Anbu moved to stop him, but was swiftly taken down by bone bullets fired by Kimimaro. Before rejoining the fight, Kimimaro winked at Tsume, who returned a wild grin. Sakura's eyes filled with fear as she looked at Naruto, but then remembered who he was, unaware of the deep hatred he now held for her. She smirked and said the words she believed would protect her. "Save your breath, Naruto," she said smugly. "You don't have the guts to hurt me. I'm your Sakura-chan, so just stop pretending and let yourself die already." Naruto responded with a powerful punch that struck her jaw, sending her crashing from her wheelchair into the far wall. "My daughter," Rose screamed, rushing to her side. "Zabuza," Naruto called out, and the swordsman appeared behind him. "Yes, my prince," Zabuza inquired, puzzled by the summon. "Remove the daimyos, clan heads, Hokage, and Jiraiya from this place," Naruto ordered. "Tell Haku to gather those marked by our spies." "Marked?" Tsunade repeated, confused. "I remembered those who showed me kindness," Naruto explained. "Our spies marked them with a special seal to get them out of here safely. Then I'll blow this whole place to bits." "Good riddance to worthless trash," the fire daimyo grumbled. He and the other daimyos had made their choice when Kakashi entered the arena, attempting to kill Naruto and signaling their warriors to eliminate anyone obstructing their path. Zabuza sent the order to Haku via radio, and the two slipped away with their assigned targets, leaving Zabuza alone with the Haruno women. You fiend! Rose shouted, charging him. She collided with his fist and was sent flying even farther than her daughter, who was just regaining consciousness after her unexpected fight. Why are you doing this? She asked, struggling to move. This was your home, your village. Why destroy it? Why? Naruto replied coldly. Because this village broke me, hurt me, and tried to crush my spirit. I finally found a place I can call home, a place where I finally know what love means. His glare hardened. I once loved you, Sakura, but every time I tried to reach out, I was pushed away and struck for no reason. Now you're nothing but a scar on my heart, one I'm determined to erase. Starting with you. He drew his sword and raised it high. As Sakura saw the blade lift, memories flashed through her mind, how she and the village treated him, bringing tears to her eyes. She recalled Naruto's kindness, especially compared to Sasuke, who barely acknowledged her. She realized then what she had lost. Wishing she could undo the past, she closed her eyes as Naruto's sword came down. Nearby, Rose hit the ground hard and groaned in pain. Several bones were broken, and she could barely move. Moments later, she sensed someone nearby. Opening her eyes despite the agony, she saw Kitamaro standing over her, a solid web in his hand. She screamed the last sound she ever made. Elsewhere, deep beneath the village in a secret base, Himura, Koharu, and Danzo sat around a table surrounded by Root Anbu. That brat, Himura growled, should have died years ago. Then we wouldn't be facing this mess. If he'd been in my program, Danzo sneered, we'd be unstoppable. Well, Koharu said, what's our next move? The village is falling apart right now. Don't worry, Danzo assured the others. As long as we're down here, no one can find us. After the dust settles, we'll rebuild and end that brat. The old war hawk smiled under his bandages, but suddenly the ceiling above them shattered with a thunderous crash. Down plummeted Bahamut, accompanied by 3 wingless dragons. You, Danzo shouted. He lunged at Bahamut, ripping away his bandages to reveal a right sharing an eye. Bahamut vanished, and Danzo clutched his face, screaming in agony. Himura and Koharu watched in horror as Bahamut drew a sword and severed Danzo's arm, covered with countless Sharingan eyes. Bahamut gestured to the dragons, who whisked Koharu and Himura away. He shook his head at the dying Danzo and departed. Danzo slowly bled out. Back in the village, Koharu, Himura, and much of the populace gathered in the center. They looked up to see Naruto standing atop a building before them, still clad in his armor. Why have you brought us here, demon? A villager shouted. Insolence, Naruto replied. Have you ever wondered why I never tried to destroy this village before? The question stunned everyone. I loved this village despite all the suffering, Naruto explained. If I were truly the monster you claimed, why didn't I kill those who hurt me? Why didn't I raise the place that always wanted me gone? Silence fell over the crowd as they listened. I found happiness with some here, but once this village betrayed me, my loyalty vanished. Yeah, right, someone yelled. Don't lie, demon, you don't deserve to live. You should have died when the 4th Hokage sealed you away. Release us now, or we'll make you. Arrogant to the last, Naruto said as he rose into the air and raised his hands. Bahamut, show them the true might of the Dragon King and his prince. Bahamut soared beside him, channeling his power. Together they unleashed a golden beam skyward, the blasts merging into a colossal orb of energy. Imagine a spirit bomb but shimmering gold. Golden Dragon Fury, they shouted as the sphere crashed down. Civilians screamed, their lives flashing before their eyes. The energy detonated in the village square, freezing the scene momentarily before exploding massively. From space, a fiery dome covered the village and surrounding miles. Fortunately, everyone had been evacuated to the other world and escaped harm. With his task complete, Naruto opened a portal to the other world and stepped through. Inside, he saw his new home, his friends and loved ones. He was immediately tackled by his brides, and fell to the ground. Naruto got up, planting a kiss on each, including the 3 goddesses. Kiba, who would normally be jealous, was distracted by Teuya, who smiled back at him. With everyone gathered and lengthy explanations given to those unaware of recent events, they headed to the village to explore their new reality. Epilogue: Naruto stood atop a towering mountain. 10 years had passed since Konoha's destruction, and he was now the reigning Dragon King. Bahamut had stepped down, passing the mantle to Naruto. About a year later, Naruto married his brides. The honeymoon was mostly quiet, except for when Naruto caught Jiraiya trying to spy on them, nearly getting burned alive as a result. The honeymoon ended with the girls exhausted but happy. Hinata was the first to conceive, delivering a healthy baby boy. The others soon followed, much to Naruto's joy. Kami, Shinigami, and Tozi were taken to the divine realm to train and hone their powers. Most others found love as well. Kiba and Teuya developed a love-hate relationship, which Suma approved of, knowing Kiba needed someone to keep his ego in check. Jirobo dated Chaoji's cousin. They married and were expecting soon. Chaoji began dating Aim, bonded by their shared love of cooking. Kidomaru and Anko became lovers, the latter expecting his child soon. Kimamaru and Sum married, with a pup on the way. Zabuza found a swordswoman to share his life. Haku and Shikamaru connected over strategy. Shino remained single, though he attracted a few admirers with his mysterious ways. Tsunade surprised everyone by accepting a date with Jiraiya. They planned to marry within a month. Yukin and Sukin dated a girl in the interrogation unit, often teasing Anko and Kidomaru, until their girlfriend Arlene showed up. In the ninja world, Kankuro remained single after a few failed attempts and slaps from women. Gaara, as always, was alone. Carrie left the dimension to reunite with her boyfriend Inari. Now over 20, they happily married in the Wave Country. Naruto truly had a new home, a family, and a kingdom to rule. He smirked as he headed to his chamber to rest, but upon opening the door, found his girls waiting, including the three goddesses. Playtime, stud, Shinigami teased, grabbing his shirt and pulling him inside. Looks like no sleep for me tonight, Naruto thought as laughter and moans filled the room. Life for Naruto Uzumaki had never been sweeter.